think I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
That there are very few times that the Heat are playing somebody in which you think we can't stop him.
Yes. I mean, very few times have I ever watched basketball games and just been like, what? Cody Zeller, what can you possibly do?
Well, but they went with the Love Zeller approach this time. Hey, it worked. They won.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm so happy
he gets his, but no one else gets 20. I mean, and really only one other player besides Jokic got more than 12. I mean, if you're the Heat, plus 104 and 108 have been their 2-point totals given up so far. I think you take that if you're Miami.
Absolutely.
Mark said it before the series started. You keep them under 110. Your magic number is 110. Bingo.
But man, that third quarter for Jokic, oh my goodness.
He's pretty good.
But then they drop in the zone and deny him the ball.
Yep.
Good morning, Paul.
Masterful by Spo.
And he only played about 4 meaningful minutes, but Duncan Robinson made him count.
He was moving the needle in those minutes.
I'm a chucker. Give me the ball. It's the only reason I'm in the game.
And now he's driving. He's making layups over Jeff Green. Like, come on now.
That's when you knew he was feeling it.
Oh yeah, flexing on Jeff Green, unbelievable.
I thought the refs were foul happy for a while. I thought they had a stretch where it was like, guys.
And Denver still took 2 more free throws than Miami. One team made 17 threes, Ambien.
Oh, and Max Strus in that first. Come on now.
Max Strus said, I got your 0 for 10 right here.
Boom.
Right here.
What was funny is he made all and they get the lead, then they blow the lead as quickly as they had it. So
like this, there was like a 21-point turnaround.
How about that run that Denver went on?
Yeah.
My goodness. How about the Blades? Won game 1 in overtime. Yesterday's game, they're up 4-1 with 6 minutes to go. They give up a power play goal. Then apparently they had like a ridiculous turnover right in front of their net, score. So Idaho scored twice in like 20 seconds. It's 4-3. And then with a little over 30 seconds later, I think it was McCarron gets a 4-minute minor. So the Blades there's like 4:20 left in the game. The Blades have to kill off a penalty. And of course they pull their goalie. So, and they scored a short empty net shorty with like 20 seconds to go to ice it.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Hope you had a good first weekend of June as we begin the first full week of the month together. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, not as good as the Heat in the fourth quarter, but I'm doing pretty darn good.
Well, very few people are. Very few people are. Heat said, we'll take the first and the fourth. You take the second and the third. Let's add it up at the end. Let's see what we got. What we got is a series that's tied at 1. We got ourselves a series.
We got a series now.
There you go. Maybe we got a chance for a little 1-1-2-2 action, and then what the heck?
The mood today in Miami is that Duncan Robinson mean mug on Jeff Green.
It's so funny. I mean, he's in the witness protection program for the first 2 hours of the game. Okay. Oh, they're down 8 to start the fourth quarter. He finds himself on the court. He looks around at the guys. It was kind of like, hey, guys, the only reason I'm in here is to shoot.
And yet they're going to leave him open to do so. I mean, that's the other part of it that I find fascinating is that here's Duncan Robinson on the floor. We know what his job is, and yet he's going to get open looks. Unbelievable. I get why Malone, the Nuggets coach, was so ticked off after the game. When you're questioning effort in game 2 of the final, that's a wow.
And don't guard too tight because he's going to blow past you and take it to the hole.
Well, that's the other thing. That's when you know maybe it's not going to be your night. It's like, I'm sorry, did he just put the ball on the floor and go to the hole and score? That's Duncan Robinson. He's got like 7 points all year, not beyond the arc. What the heck? I don't know. I thought Malone was being a little, that was a little coach speak. I mean, really, did you think the Nuggets' effort was the difference in the fourth quarter?
I thought the fact that guys were getting wide open in the fourth quarter was a problem.
Yeah, I thought it was execution. Listen, Malone did his part, Mark. He called 2 timeouts the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. As if they're saying to the guys, what the heck? It's just here. Do we need to explain how it goes? They got 5 X's. We're 5 O's. You guard him.
But the bottom line is if the Heat are going to shoot that well from beyond the arc, they're going to win games. 49% from beyond the arc, 17 to 35. That's what gets it done for Miami.
Game 3 Wednesday. Hot damn. This is fun. Come on. Just when you think, I mean, was there a moment in that game in which you thought, okay, all right, it's midnight. All right, it finally, they've gone as far as they can go. I mean, come on, it's just they were a 7 seed, went in as the 8 seed for a reason, and they've gone about as far as they can go here. And then they go, well, what are you talking about? Fourth quarter is about to start. What game are you watching?
I can't think that way with the Heat when a fourth quarter starts just because of what they've done so far in the postseason. I mean, they have conditioned us to watch the whole game, not go to bed early and say, well, they've still got a shot at this thing because no matter what they're down, the Heat have made some monumental comebacks in this postseason, and they did it again last night.
I think the Celtics are feeling a little bit better going, well, they did that to us twice. At our place, too. Games 1 and 2.
I think the Bucks are feeling a little bit better because at this point, they're finally watching basketball again. I don't think anybody on the Celtics teams watched a second of this. Not a second.
Do you think that Giannis quote is beginning to sound a little bit better when he said the season was not a failure? And we all mocked and ridiculed him for weeks. And now 6 weeks later, the team he said that about is 1-1 in the finals.
No, I'm pretty sure I still think that was a pathetic statement. He failed.
Okay.
No. It was really nice. It was eloquent. They can use it and play it for Little League baseball teams from now until the end of time. But he failed.
All right. Give the Giannis speech and then give him some ice cream. Let's go.
Let's go. Sprinkles for everybody.
Right. You only get sprinkles if you win. Just the regular code. So, fun game, though. Fun game. And I got to admit, a borderline old guy doing a morning sports show in the Eastern time zone. You know what? These 8 o'clock starts work for me. Let's see, we had about a 2-hour, 13-minute game 1. And then, the sucker's over in the 10:30 range. It's like, okay. All right. This finals is really working for me. Maybe the rest of the country will join in at some point. I think if it gets to 2-2, I think the rest of the country may go, huh? Really? Huh.
I
I'll
think
be
they'll
damned.
need to too. And now it looks like they could get it because
Yeah. I'd
that
like to think.
was on the verge of being over last night. And the fourth quarter started in the heat. Wow. Duncan Robinson comes out on fire. Duncan Robinson.
I mean, he was taken off the dribble threes. Like at that point, it's like, who is this guy?
I mean, how much had he played in the first 3 quarters?
Maybe like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I will say Spo went with a, totally different rotation. I mean, Kevin Love didn't play a second in game 1. He starts game 2.
Haywood Highsmith has a career high in game 1, doesn't play a second.
Right. Caleb Martin sick in between games 1 and 2. That's why he doesn't start. He was ineffective. Mark, and listen, I don't think anything has legs in this series. I think every game is its own entity. But really impressive that the Heat came back and threw that run on Denver with Jimmy Buckets on the bench. I mean, they're down 8 to start the fourth quarter, and it was not Jimmy Butler who brought them back. This was not the Boston series. This was not Milwaukee, game 5, in which Butler said, no. I appreciate you guys kind of sort of keeping it close. I'll take it from here. No, it was the other guys that did the job. And then Butler, with about 4 minutes to go, said, hey, can I chip in a little bit, please?
No, it was Duncan Robinson and Gabe Vincent because those are the guys that lead you back.
Right.
When you're drawing it up, that's what you're thinking.
Totally.
If Duncan can't get the ball, get it to Gabe.
Right. I mean, because when you're
what
trying...
is this the poker tour? Duncan and Gabe getting it done for crying out loud? It's basketball.
I mean, it's like Derek White versus Caleb Martin in game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Exactly. That's
what
what we narrowed it. Right. It's what we narrowed it down to. If anybody else wants to join this party, let us know. But Mark, when you're going head to head with Jokic and Jamal Murray, you want to go at them with Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson.
That's it.
Right. And if Bam and Buckets want to show up, that's fantastic.
And then they go zone, and Gabe Vincent's working as hard as any man on earth trying to keep the ball away from Jokic.
Right.
And it just doesn't even look right.
I know. Did you ever grow up playing against your dad? And you're like, between the ages of, 8 and 11. And whatever the sport is, if it's something physical, whether it's football or, basketball on the court, and you're just not big enough, you're not strong enough, and they almost put their hand on the top of your head, they just kind of hold you, and they're holding the ball with the other hand. They're like, what do you want? What are you doing? Oh, you want to play? Well, I got the ball right here. Take it from me. I mean, there are times, Mark, in which I look at Jokic and I look at the Heat, professional athletes. Some of them pretty big men. And I feel as if it's Jokic with the 11-year-old kid again. It's just kind of like, oh, this is cute. Do you want to play? You do? Oh, okay. First 3, 5, how do you want to do this? How about if I take the first possession? And then he does what he wants. Scores. Looks at him and says, okay, next time it's your turn. He's something. He really is. When you're having trouble finding anybody else who's ever played the game to compare him to, that's when you can say that about a player in any sport. That's pretty damn remarkable.
Cody Zeller shouldn't feel bad. Really, he shouldn't. I mean, what more could you possibly do to stop him?
I will say that MVP vote now looks ridiculous. But that's beside Joel. Just enjoy that trophy, baby, because you ain't getting another one.
That is the thing that's come of them making the finals. Is that now everybody is seeing Jokic play? Because no one watched Denver Nuggets basketball.
Look,
I know you have, Felipe. You love the league.
I try
I'm
to tell you guys.
I'm talking about the public in general. They don't watch the Denver Nuggets. They're not on TV a lot. This finals changing a lot because it's a star-driven league. People now like this guy because that's the other side of it. He's likable.
Oh, yes. And he's a mystery because he has no social media. No one knows a lot about him except for the fact that he basically grew up in a farm in Serbia. And he is basically a basketball unicorn. He's a mystical basketball being.
Telling you, he's turning into the NBA's number 199. Now, he's not going to win 7 titles or anything ridiculous like that. But come on now. How many of us watching NBA drafts in the future when they get to pick 41 are going to go, well, hold on. Hold on. This is not a throwaway pick. So,
But regardless of his great night, it wasn't enough as the Heat even up the series.
With a big fourth quarter. Stat of the day. Okay, I don't know how the Dan Patrick Show comes up with a better stat than this, Mark. Stat of the day from our buddy Tim Reynolds, the Associated Press of Miami. Number of times the Heat overcame a deficit of 12 or more points to win this season. In the regular season, they did it 9 times. In the playoffs, they've done it 7.
Bump, bump. That's remarkable.
Never say die.
Giving broadcasters more reasons to use the term resilience than ever before, the Miami Heat.
But not only that, Mark, you tried and you kept saying all year long, I'm watching these guys. They're a difficult watch. Now, all of a sudden, the Heat are fun. What the heck?
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh my gosh, Paul. Like, when Brown started clamping us, I was like, please no. He did the same thing to the Hurricanes 2 years ago. The Elite Eight. Yeah, Elite Eight. Man, game 3 on Wednesday in Miami. I mean, that's going to be a party.
If Miami wins, it is. If they get beat by 20, it's going to be a really bad night.
Yeah, that would be a bad night. But
Because Miami doesn't party until after the game. They don't party before. They don't show up until the second quarter.
well, that house is going to be packed and loud. So,
by when? Start of the second?
Oh no.
Ooh, really? Netflix is doing an urban era gator stock?
Yeah.
I like it.
10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Starting 5 in a little more than 15 minutes time. All right. Was one of those sequences. Jokic scores a little over 35 seconds ago to cut it to 3. Both teams have timeouts left. I think Denver had 1, Miami 2, I think. The Heat don't call it. They just, let their offense run its course. You figure, Butler's going to shoot it here. He does. Not his strength. He shoots a 3, misses. Denver rebounds. What do we have? About 12, 13 seconds left?
Mm-hmm.
They grab the rebound in the backcourt.
Yep.
They don't call timeout. Curious, Now, we watch a game differently. I'm more nooks and crannies than you are. So I don't know if you thought, during that Heat possession, hey, if they miss here, call timeout, or when Butler misses and they grab the ball and you see how much time is left. Were you thinking that, Denver should have called the timeout?
I love the no timeout. I don't want the defense to set. I'm actually of the idea that you shouldn't call a timeout there. I have no issues with running a play. At that point, come on, these are pros. Murray's going to get the ball. He's your best three-point shooter. So I'm not as worried about setting up a play at that point. I'm more worried about them setting up a defense if I call a timeout.
And the look the look that they got in terms of the shot that Jamal Murray took at the end of the game was a shot that he literally made 2 minutes prior to making. It's a makeable shot for Jamal Murray.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to admit, normally I'm in 100% agreement with you. The only reason why when the Heat had the ball and we're under 30 seconds to go and I'm thinking, if I'm Malone here and they miss, do I call timeout? Is because in the final 2 minutes mark, the Nuggets had scored on 2 offensive rebounds. And so I'm wondering, do I just let it play out and it's 3-pointer or bust, or do I call timeout, advance it to half court, and give myself potentially 2 cracks at it because they couldn't prevent Jokic from grabbing the offensive rebounds? And I thought if Jokic grabs a miss with 3 or so seconds to go, he'll kick it out to somebody probably open who will get a second crack at the 3. That's the only reason why for, a couple seconds I'm debating, man, do I call timeout here if I'm Denver? Because I've been grabbing some key offensive rebounds down the stretch. But, yeah, I mean, if you told me, hey, that's the look I'm going to get to tie, yeah, okay, good. I'm good with it. Now, Now, at
He
any
would have
point,
never gotten that shot off in a million years, David.
now,
Never.
At any point in time during that final 12 seconds, are you screaming at the television for the Heat? Foul!
Well,
Foul!
the announcers are telling you to foul. I mean, both Van Gundy's yelling for foul. I'm in agreement. I'm like, yes.
And that was the other advantage, I thought, to Malone not calling a timeout, because clearly Spo, during a 2.5-minute break, would have said, listen, we get to 5 seconds. I don't care who has the ball. You're fouling them. Don't care. We're not letting him shoot a three.
And they had an opportunity when Murray was 12 feet behind the three-point line where you couldn't even have made up a shot where you could have fouled him there and then forced him to inbound the ball with about 5 seconds left. I thought the chance was there.
But that's what's so hard about that situation and trying to foul is that the offense can also read that as soon as that pressure comes, you go up for a shot, and then you get 3 free throws instead of 2.
I got you, but there was an opportunity, and they were in the bonus, so it would have put him on the line. But there was an opportunity when he was literally 12 feet from the basket, not even facing the basket, before the pick and roll happened, that I would have fouled him.
So that's all. I was just wondering, when you're watching the final, Jokic scores there, what was it, about 36 seconds ago, something like that, cuts it to 3. And it's like, oh, cool. Nobody's going to call any timeouts. All right. And then Denver grabs the miss, and it's like, I'll be damned. They're not going to call a timeout. This is cool. All right.
Both teams ended the game with 2 timeouts.
There you go. Both teams pulled a Missoula. Poor guy. He got to keep his job. He's 34 years old. He's head coach in the NBA. I don't think we should feel too sorry for him.
I don't know how many poor guys we need to be giving him.
Right.
As a matter of fact.
But I do think, though, from now on, you take 2 timeouts into the locker room with you. It's like, hey, I pulled a Missoula. So that's all. I was just kind of wondering what you guys thought. Final 35 or so seconds there. He didn't call timeout, set up a play. But they got the ball to the guy they wanted to get it to. I mean, give it to Butler. Okay.
Yeah, Butler gets the shot on the one end, although I'm not sure why he needed to shoot a three-pointer there and why he didn't want to drive and take a 15, 18-foot jumper, of which he's money at, and put him up by 5 and close the game out. I question the shot choice of having to jump back and shoot a 3 there.
By the way, I want to shed some light on those Bam free throws at the end, because those are the 2 biggest free throws of Bam Adebayo's life, right?
No doubt. No doubt.
And he knocked them both down.
That's right. That's right.
5 missed free throws in that game with 42 taken.
By the way, 2 free throws, game 1, 20 free throws, game 2.
But the Nuggets, who had 20 free throws game 1, had what, 22 game 2?
Yes.
So, it was just the Heat that drew a quote-unquote normal number of fouls. Got to admit, some of them in the fourth quarter, though, for Denver. I mean, they fouled, what, 2 3-point shots?
Yes.
In the fourth?
Contavious Caldwell-Pope, who is one of their best perimeter defenders, was
right.
Who had an awful game.
Yes.
He was terrible.
He was bad.
Yeah. Max Strus should walk up to him, walking off the floor, and go, don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. It can happen. See
but
you,
don't expect it to happen from your players at home.
Right.
I mean, what happened to Strus and to Robinson and to Martin in game 1, you kind of go, all right, it was a road game. That's to have your auxiliary players, if you will, play that badly at home in game 2 when the game was right there for the taking. Credit Miami's defense, but boy, oh boy, some poor performances out of the Nuggets auxiliary guys, if you will.
But up 8 going to the fourth. You know how many games this year the Nuggets lost? Regular season and playoffs?
I believe that number is 1.
You are correct, Mark. You are correct. taking an 8 or more point lead to the fourth quarter. The Nuggets had lost once. Hell of a time to make it twice. And credit the Heat for doing what no one else had done in the playoffs. Going into the altitude, Mark. It's not just the Nuggets, it's the altitude.
Hadn't lost in months at home.
I know. What was it, like March?
Yeah.
Hell, they hadn't lost period in almost 4 full weeks. Remember, they swept the Lakers, won the last 2 against Phoenix, had 9 days off in between series. Hadn't lost since like May 7th.
Before last night, the last time that the Heat won a game in Denver was November 30th, 2016. 2016.
Trump wasn't even president yet. That seems like a long time ago.
Because it was. Duncan Robinson says, take that. 3 points in the first 7 quarters of the series, 10 points in the fourth quarter of game 2 for Robinson. That's the difference that he made in that game. We'll catch you up on everything that you may have missed over the weekend. We call it the Starting Five. It is next right here. Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Holy moly. So they're making a Barbie movie with
Yes,
Margot
they
Robbie
are.
as Barbie. The Barbie movie used so much pink paint that it caused an international shortage. Oh my God.
What international shortage?
That they're making a new Barbie movie where Margot Robbie is playing Barbie, and the movie used so much pink paint for all the sets that it caused an international shortage of fluorescent Roscoe paint. Oh my God.
Thanks, Ambien.
This 13-year-old's trying to qualify for the U.S. Open today, David. Chris Song is his name.
Wouldn't he be the youngest guy to ever do
He'd
it?
be the youngest guy.
Did you just say 13?
Yes. He's
Oh
5'2". He weighs 115 pounds.
Oh my God.
Made a 12-footer to get through the first stage in a playoff.
Where's he playing?
In California.
Today's the qualifier in Columbus, right? All the guys from the Memorial who aren't in the U.S. Open, they go.
Yep. So Michael Block and his 18-year-old son are both trying to qualify for the U.S. Open today.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
They were supposed to be at the same spot, but they let the old man move because he's playing in the RBC this week.
I think Gooch is trying to qualify. Don't quote me on that, Johnny Mac.
Matt Kuchar's 15-year-old son is trying to qualify.
10 seconds.
He's not interested in winning, Mark, just placing well.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Ron Sirak will join us. It's a big golf weekend, a historic golf weekend. We'll get to that and a lot more coming up with
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Now we start with last night in Denver. Heat down 8 going to the 4th. In all likelihood, the series on the line. And Miami responds. A 15-2 run to start the 4th quarter. Never trailed from there, although the Nuggets cut it to 1 late. Heat 111, Nuggets 108. Denver had been unbeaten at home in the playoffs 9-0. They were 37-1 this season when they took an 8 or more point lead to the 4th quarter. make it 37-2. Jamal Murray missed a deep three at the buzzer. And the Heat, who went 17 of 35 beyond the arc. I mean, the Nuggets weren't bad. They shot 39% beyond the arc and hit 11 of them. But the Heat outscored Denver by 18 beyond the arc, and they win it by 3. Series tied at 1. Games 3 and 4 in Miami, Wednesday and Friday. Balanced attack for the Heat. Gabe Vincent led the way with 23. Jimmy and Bam each had 21. Remember Max Strus, 0 for 10 in game 1? He had 14, did his damage early. Remember Duncan Robinson? Useless in game 1. Well, he was invisible for 3 quarters in game 2, but then scored all 10 of his points early in the 4th to help lead the comeback. Jokic with 41 in defeat. But Mark, what's that stat you had? Jokic when he scores 40 or more in the playoffs?
They're 0-3. When he's at 40 plus in the playoffs, he's lost every game.
So Jokic got his, but only 4 assists. As Miami did a really good job on everybody else, only one other player for the Nuggets had more than 12, and that was Jamal Murray with 18. Game 2 tonight in the battle for Lord Stanley's Cup. If you missed it, Saturday night, Vegas with 3 in the third, one of them an empty netter, all of them in the final 10 minutes. Beat the Panthers 5-2. Game 2 tonight, and then the series obviously will shift to sunrise Thursday, Saturday, games 3 and 4. I thought game 1, by the way, we'll get more into it, Golden Knights and Panthers, but for a team who hadn't played in a week and a half, I thought Florida played pretty well. I didn't think they were as sharp as they were when they were playing regularly, but I mean, I thought they played pretty well.
Undisciplined.
Yeah, that's true.
Undisciplined. That would be the word I would describe them as. I think you're right in what you say in your assessment, David, but they really wanted to establish some physicality before and after the whistle throughout the game, and they took undisciplined penalties.
And Vegas made them pay with a couple of power play goals. Game 2 tonight, 8 o'clock, TNT. By the way, I thought Kenny Albert had a rough game 1. I thought the rest of the crew was excellent. I thought Kenny had a rough game 1. He didn't know who the players were. I was shocked. Baseball. Rays took 2 out of the first 3 from the Red Sox. They'll finish the series at 4 o'clock today at Fenway. 6-2 the final yesterday. Rays, by the way, added a reliever. How about that? Maybe not wait until the deadline. Go get some bullpen help now. Huh?
You lost another one over the weekend.
They acquired Robert Stevenson from the Pirates. He's already made 2 appearances, 2/3 of an inning, both Saturday and yesterday. He's yet to give up a run. Rays have a 4-game lead on Baltimore, who beat San Francisco 8-3. Yankees took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. They're 6 back. Judge did not play yesterday. He made a sensational catch, if you didn't see it, Saturday night. Dodger Stadium, you know, they got that padding on the fence, which separates the field from the bullpen deep down the right field line. He went crashing into that fence, actually jarred it open. He hit it so hard. He finished the game Saturday, didn't play yesterday, a little sore. You know, big fella and all. Toronto swept the 3-gamer for the Mets in New York, 6-4 the final, even though the Mets had 4 solo homers. The Marlins swept the A's. We said they had to do it, and they did. They trailed 5-1 yesterday before coming back and winning it with 2 in the 8th. 7-5 the final. Hey, 60 games in, guys. The Marlins are 32-28. They're in second in the East. They're 3.5 back. Playoffs started today. They're in it. Them and the Pirates, by the way, are both in as wild cards if the playoffs started today. Luis Ariz, who won the batting title with Minnesota last year, big offseason acquisition for the Marlins. Mark, have you seen what he's hitting? He won the game with the RBI single, first of 2 runs in the 8th last night. He's hitting .392.
That's pretty good, I think, isn't it?
That should get the general manager who's in the final year of her contract a contract extension in and of itself. Traded a pitcher straight up for a guy who's hitting .392.
He had a 5-hit game on Saturday.
By the way, game within the game, we said Marlins A's 3-game series in South Florida.
I tried to middle this. I went over 30,000, but under 33,000. So I'm really fired up for what the totals are.
And Mark, you won both showcases.
Yes!
Because they did 8,500 and change Friday, 10-6 on Saturday, and 12-5 yesterday. You add it up, it's 31,738.
Yes! Middled it.
Listen, Miller and Moulton, we're not good for much, but we can play guess the attendance with the best of them. What else we got here? Braves took 2 or 3 from Arizona. Eddie Rosario with a slam with 2 outs in the ninth to win it for Atlanta, 8-5. By the way, did you see the low light for Ozuna? His 415-foot single. Straight away center field, he crushed it, and he admired it. Yeah, hit the top of the wall. Center fielder grabs it, throws it back. He wasn't running. Yeah. Snitker, it took him right out of the game. Milwaukee 5-1 over Cincinnati. Brewers with the sweep to remain in first, a half a game ahead of the Pirates, who got done sweeping the Cardinals. By the way, on June 5th, the St. Louis Cardinals have the worst record in the National League. What the hell is going on? Hey, a few folks from Pittsburgh realized that they got a winning baseball team. Nearly 23,000 showed up on Sunday.
One of the best ballparks in the country, and people might show up. Good for them.
Yeah, how about that? Playing for first place and all. Phillies got 2 3-run homers from Schwarber, who was hitting about $180 before he did it. And Drew Ellis hit 2 homers, his first 2 of the year, 11-3 over Washington. Cubs beat the Padres 7-1. Marcus Stroman right now is the hottest pitcher in baseball. Another 6 shutout innings. He picked up his 4th straight win. Guardians split a 4-game series with the Twins, and that's tough for Minnesota because they won the first 2 games of the 4-game set. 2-1 the final Cleveland yesterday. Twins lead over Cleveland's 3.5. And Mark, an awful weekend for your Tigers, who were in second place when the weekend started and got swept by the White Sox. 6-2 the final. Jake Berger with a slam in the ninth to win it for the Southsiders. Angels beat the Astros 2-1 to avoid the 4-game sweep. Ohtani with the game-winning RBI double in the 8th. Texas swept Seattle 12-3. Marcus Simeon's hit streak's at 23. Like we said, he does this for another 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, DiMaggio will go, yeah, you're close. You're getting there. Kansas City shut out Colorado 2-0. Roger Craig, who won 3 World Series as a player, managed the Giants to the World Series in '89. They lost to the A's in the Earthquake Series. He also started the very first game in the history of the New York Mets. Roger Craig died yesterday at the age of 93. In golf, Victor Hovland parred the first playoff hole to beat Denny McCarthy to win the Memorial. McCarthy bogeyed 18 to go into the playoff, and then he bogeyed 18 again. Rory had the lead on the back 9, so, of course, he had to cough it up, and he did. Rory made 4 bogeys yesterday with a wedge in his hand in the middle of the fairway. Scotty Scheffler shot a 567 to miss the playoff by 1. Scheffler apparently was 21 strokes better than the rest of the field on average from tee to green. That's how bad he putted, and he missed the playoff by a shot. Scheffler basically said, I've never hit the ball better in my life than I'm doing so right now. Keep that in mind in 2 weeks for the Open. Jordan Spieth, by the way, finished tied for 5th at 4 under. Keep him in mind for the Open.
No way. No way on Spieth.
What about LA Country Club, though? Okay, you think it's a course that maybe little...
Doesn't drive it straight enough to me for a U.S. Open.
Well,
okay, that's
true. And I hear you. And the course that he won it on, Chambers Bay, probably a little more forgiving than most U.S. Open courses. Rose Zhang, we told you about her. First off, we told you about her 2 months ago when she won the Augusta Amateur Tournament. Then we told you about her 2 weeks ago when she went back-to-back winning the NCAA title and she won more matches at Stanford than Tiger Woods. And we said she's about to turn 20, and she's the most heralded American amateur turning pro since Michelle Wie. Well, she did something yesterday which hadn't been done in 72 years. She won her first pro start. She won the America's Open, played on a really good course, Liberty National in Jersey City, 1 mile from the Statue of Liberty, by the way. It's very picturesque. She bogeyed 18 to go into a playoff with Jennifer Kupchko, and then parred 18 twice to win the playoff. 20-year-old American, born and raised in California, turned 20 10 days ago. Rose Zhang, Z-H-A-N-G. Mark, she may be the Michelle Wie that we thought we were going to get. We, by the way, hosted this tournament. Okay. And needless to say, the comparisons were made. We'll talk to Ron Sirak about the weekend of golf coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. College baseball, Gators stayed alive yesterday. They won twice, eliminated UConn, and then beat Texas Tech. So they'll have a winner advance, loser go home game with Texas Tech today at noon. Miami got eliminated by Texas, who won the Coral Gables Regional 10-6 over the weekend. 9 teams, Mark, out of the 16 have already advanced. Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Oregon, Wake Forest, Indiana State, Oral Roberts, Virginia, and South Carolina have already advanced. Softball, the 2 unbeatens are Florida State and Oklahoma. They both play 2-for-1s today. They have 2 opportunities to win 1 game to advance to the final. Florida State's got 2 cracks at Tennessee, needing the 1 win. Oklahoma, who's 58-1, gets 2 cracks at Stanford, needing 1 win to advance. If the Noles and Oklahoma advance, it'd be number 1 against number 3 in the country. They'd play a best 2 out of 3 this week for the College Softball World Series title. French Open, 2 American women are left. No American men are left as we get through the 4th round. Top seed on the men's side, Alcaraz, and 3rd seeded Djokovic have both advanced through to the quarters. NFL news quickly. Bills signed defensive tackle Ed Oliver to a fascinating 4-year, $68 million extension. Guy had 2.5 sacks last year. And they guaranteed like 2/3 of the deal. I know he's a former.
We talked about that position, though, and the money that was going to go for that position. This is in line with what Pat Kerwin thought about a month ago when we were talking specifically about Oliver and his upcoming contract.
Listen, I don't mind them spending 4 years, $68 million on a defensive tackle. I just wish they did it on a good one. Norma Hunt, the matriarch of the Kansas City Chiefs Hunt family, she had attended every single Super Bowl, by the way. Passed away yesterday at the age of 85. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
I was all in, by the way, on Rose Zhang. By the way, Kyle Busch won in St. Louis, a NASCAR race that took nearly 6 hours. They had internet problems on the track. I kid you not. They had to delay the broadcast. The crews couldn't communicate with one another. It was a nightmare. Half the cameras they had at the race couldn't work. It was unbelievable. They had like 6 restarts in the final 40 laps because of so many wrecks and cautions. It was a mess. Kyle Busch won it.
I was watching college baseball yesterday.
Look at you. It's a long day. It's a long weekend.
They're long games.
Yes,
wow. You've said it. I've heard you talk about it because you've called your fair share of college baseball games. Until you really watch it, you don't realize that Yankees Red Sox looks like it's going quickly compared to college baseball.
And I know we're up against it, but how slow do those games look this year now that Major League Baseball is the pitch clock?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ambient. Freeman went 0 for 5 Friday, so the hit streak ended Friday night at 20. He actually went 1 for 14 in the series against the Yankees. Only had a hit on Saturday. Well, RCB's had 2 appearances. They were 2/3 of an inning each time. I mean, he had 2 walks yesterday. He had to be pulled. 2 out, 2 on in the 6th yesterday, but I mean, they usually don't make bad deals. They gave up a shortstop prospect. I don't know where on the prospect rankings he, was, but the Rays seem to be set at short. I think we could say that, right? How about if you're Freddie Freeman? You're hitting 331 and you trail in the batting race by 61 points. Well, yeah, there's 102 games left.
The Marlins are 32-28.
Right, we said that.
I know.
By the way, that's the same record that they had in the pandemic year. It was a 60-game season. They went 32-28.
Mhm.
Not since 1941, Ambien.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday, the first such Monday of June, where the NBA Finals are tied at a game apiece. And the Panthers try to even up the Stanley Cup Finals at a game apiece tonight in Las Vegas. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Text in the show at 21000. If you've never texted us before, you need to type in, the kind of the password, FSN Radio, all one word, FSN Radio. That gets you through. Then you can just, let us know how mediocre we really are. Those of you watching on the Miller Moulton Twitch.tv channel, well, the chat room's right there. You can let us know even more quickly than that. So there, you guys throw in little signals and what have you with your messages, stars and middle fingers and thumbs up. And, there's no ambiguity on the Twitch chat room. That's for sure, Mark. So how about the Heat? What if I had told you at the beginning of the fourth quarter, listen, they got this. How much money would you bet me? What odds would you have given me? Down 8 at the start of the fourth quarter.
I'd have given you odds, but again, like I said before, this Heat team's done this so much in the postseason. I don't know how surprised you can be that Miami came back from an 8-point deficit in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. I know it's the finals. I know it's Denver. I know it's the altitude. I know Jokic is having this incredible scoring game. But they did it against Milwaukee. They did it against the Knicks. They did it against Boston. This is who they are.
I thought this was one of their 3 best, though. Like the game 5 clincher against Milwaukee was ridiculous. I mean, they were down to 15, something like crazy like that. Came back and won that in the fourth. That was nuts. But the game 2 in Boston also, Boston is figure they're the more desperate team. They're up double figures. They had kind of pushed the Heat to the side in that game, much like it looked like Denver had done in the second and third quarters last night. That's the other thing, Mark, if this were a boxing match, in that third quarter, the Heat, that's kind of like, at halftime, you're down, and your trainer looks at you and goes, listen, he's starting to take it to you a little bit. You got to turn this sucker around. Well, I thought in the third quarter, round 7 and 8, if you will, of the 12-round fight, that the Heat were turning it around. And then the Nuggets had a resounding 9th-round win. So that they're up 8 going to the fourth. And you're like, once again, you're sitting down in the corner and your trainer's looking at you going, listen, man, you got to win these last 3 rounds or you're going to lose. You're not winning the decision here.
So do you go to Bam inside? Do you go to Jimmy Buckets? No, you go to Duncan Robinson to start the fourth quarter and he lights it up.
Right. Total number of points for Duncan Robinson through the first 7 quarters of this series were
3. 3.
You gotta love sports. This is why we watch. It is the one thing we don't take seriously enough. You know how the PGA Tour, what's been their long time motto? These guys
are good.
I mean, it is one of the things. I mean, if you're on an NBA roster, you're one of the 500 best basketball players in the world. I mean, 30 times 15, that's 450. I mean, that's the most they can have. I mean, you're one of the 500 best in the world. You know, like this Haywood guy, okay, for the Heat. You know, he's shown up the 2 times that Spose let him play in the playoffs in the last 3 weeks. He's scored like double digits both times. He needs a subpoena to get in the games. And every time he plays, you're like, damn, this guy's pretty good. I mean, Duncan Robinson is making $80 million. I mean, there are times in which you want to drug test Pat Riley. Like, what the hell were you doing? There are times in which Riley's standing there looking at you like, now you know. I wish he would do it more often, but now you know.
17 trays for Miami. Nearly 50% from beyond the arc.
You talking cheese trays or what kind of trays?
Whatever kind of tray you want, Mr. Moulton. You want a cheese tray? Sure. I think it was a little, there was a little cheese there. There was a little cheese there. Cheese and extra cheese, if you know what I mean.
But they outshot Denver from beyond the arc 17-11. That's an 18-point differential. Kind of sort of held their own on the glass, although late in the game, they were rebounding their misses late in the game. Heat had what, like an 11-point lead with 3 minutes to go, and it got a little interesting.
The other side, one, when you're making shots, and 2, you're not turning the ball over, you're able to set your defense. And even though Jokic had the big game, Miami didn't give up a lot of easy buckets last night.
Well, and until late when I thought they got tired. And because Denver took the 2 early fourth quarter timeouts, ABC didn't need to take any timeouts. And so we had long stretches in the fourth quarter where they just played. I mean, if anybody running college basketball, by the way, watched the fourth quarter last night, did you possibly pick up on something? How much better the game flows, how much more enjoyable it is when we don't go 7.9 seconds in between timeouts. Anybody notice this at all? Man, that was enjoyable. They're just playing. How about that? I mean, the guys are pros. They've played thousands of games in their life. They've had the coaching lead. They know what to do. Just a matter of, are they going to do it? John Wooden and Bob Knight didn't call timeouts. What do you need to call timeouts for? Just saying. Of course,
don't get used to it.
Of course, if Denver had hit the tying 3, Spode be lit up like a tree this morning, but it was fun. It was fun. We got ourselves a series.
I think we do.
Now, you still feel good about your Denver pick, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just think now that Miami just changed the number from 5 to 6, right?
It's kind of the way I look at it. And I'm still not discounting 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, what did they say in Vegas? Almost 45% of the bets that were placed on the outcome of this series were Nuggets in 4. Nearly half the bets that were placed in Vegas were Nuggets in a sweep. I don't know why they keep building. Why
Bigger
they keep
and nicer casinos, and why every casino has a new illustrious sports book inside of it.
why they can keep adding pro sports teams. Hell, while we're at it, let's add an F1 race. Speaking of which, quick tangent. Did you hear the idea that the Oakland A's are floating? 4:00 games, local time. So that when people get done with the game and they can go to the casinos. Now, I think that's a little nuts because that's almost like assuming that the majority of your crowd is going to be people who are tourists.
Correct. It's insane. It's dumb. Tourists don't go to games with that type with those numbers. You're trying to be the locals team. Now, if that works best for the locals so that they can make their night shift, fine. But if you're doing it to thinking you're getting tourists before they go to the casinos, well, I just think it's another bad idea by the Oakland A's.
Now, I have to admit, like a 5:30, 6:00 start time locally would, I think, is interesting. Get people go straight from work to the game, and then, whatever tourists you have, if they want to go, well, we can go to the game. We can done by 8:30. I mean, please, 8:30 in Vegas. That's like an early bird. Anyway, just back to the NBA Finals. As DC's pointing out in our Twitch chat room, Denver shot 52% for the game and lost. But Mark, you did say it before the series started. You had a number you put up there. You said the magic number's 110 for Miami. They have to somehow, some way, keep Denver below it. And then obviously 4 times can they get to it. Well, both times they've kept Denver below 110, and one time they were able to get to it. I mean, if you're Spo and I hand you a piece of paper that says 7 games, you'll hold them under 110 all 7 times. Think you're going to win this series? I think Spo would go, yeah, probably in 6 or 7. Yeah, I do.
Key difference in the game, the three-point shooting. Miami shoots like that from three-point land, they're going to win a title. That's, I still think Denver wins the series. If you tell me Miami is going to go 17 to 35 3 more times from beyond the arc, then I'm going to be wrong. I'm telling you that right now. You can't allow that type of shooting from beyond the arc and expect to win a series. You can't.
I forget how many threes the Heat shot in game 1. I know they hit a third of them. Were they like 11 for 33 or 13 for 39?
They were 13 for 39.
Okay. Well, of those 39, 16 of them were considered, quote, wide open. So 40% of their threes in game 1 were wide open threes. When you were watching the game last night, of their 35 threes, how many of them were you like, oh, that guy's open?
A bunch. I thought Denver lacked defensive. You said execution, effort, whatever you want to call it, but too many guys were getting open 3-pointers. Terrific job by Miami to get their guys good looks.
So far through 2 games, Mark, if you're the Heat, don't you fly back going, well, it's not like we're having trouble running our offense and getting open looks. And we got ourselves a series. Do the Panthers give us a series tonight? Game 2 against Vegas, Miller and Moulton.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. How you doing? Can't wait. FSN Radio. You sure I'm not getting your texts? I get a lot of texts. I don't respond to all of them because we get a lot. But FSN Radio is the keyword.
But thanks for listening.
Really like it if you owned a large business or were in charge of marketing dollars for a company. Just need two. You know, the guy in Tampa would be nice if he owned something.
I'll let him know. Listen, we appreciate your support and all, but
so can I go on a little tangent here?
absolutely. You want to do it on air or off?
No, on.
Oh, good. Yeah. Go for
I
it.
nearly got run over by a guy. I'll just give you the preface, David. I nearly got run over by a guy at Costco on Saturday who could not get to the, wait for it, plant-based cheese sample fast enough. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard, Rye. That you have no idea just how funny that is. That guy hates sports talk radio more than any human on earth. Thinks it's the worst waste of money ever. I was yelled at him by that guy. I was yelled at by 20 minutes for that guy. And I just merely wanted to go see him about advertising. And he screamed at me for 20 minutes. Then I asked him if he felt better, and then I left. Now, he might advertise with the other show that's on this station because the one guy's from Boston. Oh, I'm sure he did.
So I got a tweet over the weekend. Actually, I got a DM from a listener, Mark.
I didn't have any of it, Canada Relief, but thank you for asking.
So I got a DM from a listener over the weekend. He was in Naples, and he said, I'm thinking about the two of you right now. standing in the 10 item or less aisle. There's a person in front of me with 15 items and the person behind me with 20. And I said, immediately responded and said, well, it's a good thing you're there because I'd get arrested.
Arrested.
So I go to the grocery store yesterday and it's not busy at all. And I have time to talk it to a cashier. And I go, hey, what do you do if you got the 15 in front and the 20 behind? And she said, here's the deal. If they put one item onto the thing, we're screwed. If we can get them when it's still in the cart and go, hey, you need to go. She goes, but once they put one item, we're screwed. And I go, but am I as the customer in the middle? She goes, you can say whatever you want.
Hey, I told you I didn't see it, like the way they had the balloons, and I jumped in and I started. I'm ripping things off the cart. I'm like, no, you're fine. But no, I'm not fine. I have more than 10. I am so sorry. I can't believe I did this. Excuse me. And I'm just ripping things into my cart, running away. Like, oh my goodness.
I mean, second to parking in a handicap spot, honestly. I mean, that's where it is on violations.
Miami shot 70% from the floor in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that'll
69, but I mean,
that'll win you a lot of games.
That's pretty good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes after the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Felipe with the Clutch Vodka play of the day coming up in a handful of minutes. And for those of you who followed the show on Twitch, that's when Felipe makes a video appearance and we get to see what Miami garb he has on today between Panthers, Heat, Canes, Marlins.
Have you bought a second bit of Panthers merch? Because you have your dad's jersey from like
1996.
Okay, I was gonna say
last time they made the World Cup.
Last century. Last time they made the
Stanley
World
Cup.
Cup. Exactly.
Stanley Cup.
Last time they made the World Cup.
I don't know why I said World Cup.
Well, cup. You know, you just
got half of it right.
Come on, when's the last time you watched the hockey playoffs? Okay.
But that's the thing. I only watch the hockey playoffs because I can't keep up with both. I can't.
No, I understand.
It's too hard.
Well, you watch too much Golden State and the Lakers. We get it.
But have you purchased any Panther garb on this run? Do you have anything besides the jersey now?
No. The jersey's good enough. It's an awesome jersey.
I don't disagree.
I might buy a hat though. And if I buy I don't think I'll buy another jersey, but I might buy a Matthew Tkachuk jersey. You know the jerseys?
Yeah, we're aware.
Yeah. Because Tkachuk is the man. He is the one.
And he's going to be there a while too. I have to say that, you got to pick your, who you're going to spend money on, but they just signed him 8 years? And we're year one. I mean, he ain't going anywhere for a while.
Him and Barkov are my two favorite Panthers of all time.
Two pretty good ones to pick.
Yeah, really.
I got to take us on a little tangent. I just got to ask you both a very simple question to start.
Okay.
Do you grab samples at the store? Now, grocery stores don't do it pretty much anymore, but Costco, if you're at Costco and the free samples are you going for the free samples?
Every single time.
No.
I don't care what it is.
Which I'm sure is shocking to most everyone listening because I'll eat anything that's not nailed down, but I never, ever and I went to the grocery store yesterday and they were like stopping you and accosting you and going, hey, would you? And I go, no, I'm good.
Why?
No, because we've got a super grocery store in Naples that has great samples. I'll eat all of this. I'll do the Costco sample, but I don't go out of my way to get the sample. If they're, if I happen to go down the aisle, I'm like, oh, I'll try one of those.
Felipe,
I was nearly taken out Saturday at Costco.
Wait, what?
Oh boy.
I'm with the wife and the daughter picking up like 5 things at Costco. We got a quick run. We're in and out. You actually can pull that off.
Really? I was going to say that seems like a dangerous place to try that at.
You're right, but it's close enough to my house that I just consider it another grocery store.
Okay.
I know where everything is. I'm trying to, like going to Wisconsin. You buzz in, you buzz out. So I've got my items, and I'm on the back aisle, and they have, and all of a sudden I'm coming up one aisle, and I nearly get taken out, cart to cart. I felt like Ross Chastain was in the other cart.
Rubbing is racing, huh? In aisle 4?
I've got to see what the hell this guy is, because all this guy is trying to get to is the free sample. And what he nearly took me out for was plant-based cheese.
Seriously?
Thank you. Which I have come to the conclusion that you could take a number 2 on a cracker and put it out as a free sample, and people would race to it at Costco. It doesn't matter what it is, they will eat it.
So that's like the radio station giving away a free t-shirt?
Exactly.
Plant-based cheese?
Plant-based cheese for the vegans out there, David.
I know, but I have to admit the whole thing seems like an oxymoron. I mean, plant-based cheese. I mean,
correct.
How do you get the plant to replicate the, cow?
Science.
Wow. Man.
Thank you, Thomas Dolby. And you have no idea what that reference is, but your wording for it was perfect.
What you blinded me with. What is the sample, by the way, worth getting the 1-game suspension from NASCAR? Because it sounds like, he pulled a Chase Elliott there. And you were Denny Hamlin, and he took you out.
He took me out. Didn't care, no regard for the daughter or the wife. Just, he was getting the plant-based cheese.
Now, if it was like a meatball.
Now, I got to admit, I was just thinking, I never accept a sample. But if it was a meatball.
Sometimes they have those meatballs out there, and the line starts flooding, And there's a lot of congestion, because I'm sure you went over the weekend.
There's your problem right there. It is worse than pick your intersection.
Oh my gosh. It's worse than I-4.
Pick your intersection in Tampa, pick your intersection in Fort Myers, Naples, Lake City, Port Charlotte, wherever things get congested, multiply that times 50. That's what happens around the samples at Costco.
On a Sunday, yeah. But have the samples ever gotten you? Because, gotten you to buy it? Because I'm not going to lie, it has a couple times for me.
Oh, yeah. I've had the sample and said, not bad.
I'm going to buy that. Yeah. They get me sometimes. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No, I get caught right at the register with all the stuff they put right by the register.
You mean the candy bars?
Yeah, or chips or a soda, especially since now I'm not supposed to have any. And so it's kind of like, I look around and I go, I could pound that sucker and get rid of the evidence before anybody could find out. So, yeah, that's where I'm vulnerable.
Miller and Moulton, the text line is open at 21,000-2100. If you want to text the show, text FSN Radio. If you've never done so before, FSN Radio is the keyword. Time now for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. Felipe, what do you have for us?
The Nuggets down 3. Final seconds of Game 2 of the NBA Finals. The Heat just need one stop.
Butler, step back 3. No good with 13 seconds to go. Denver ball. They got 2 timeouts. They're down 3. They're not going to use the timeout. Here's Murray at the top. Butler defending with 4. Murray step back for the tie at 3. No good. Rebound Miami. The Heat have won it. 111-108. Miami with the win. And the series is tied at 1.
As soon as they get that rebound and dribble the ball on the other side of the floor, the first thing I'm saying is, please not again. Please. But the Heat win Game 2. Let's go back to Miami. Let's go back to sea level. And let's go Heat.
Series tied at 1. Games 3 and 4 in Miami, Wednesday and Friday. And now we'll see if the Panthers can do the same tonight in Vegas. I like Florida tonight. I do.
I'm with you. I think I said it was going 7. I liked, Maurice after the game. Just blank and breathe to the reporters.
Right. But also, there was one key sequence early second period of that game. I mean, the Panthers had a wide open net, and the goalie for Vegas, completely out of position, reaches back with his stick, and the Panthers forward didn't shoot the puck. He just kind of deflected it because he's like, I got a wide open net. All I have to do is just get my stick on it. And the Vegas goalie made literally the save of his life. He will never make a more dramatic, bigger save. And Mark, I thought that goal was huge because Florida goes up 2-1. And what have the Panthers been doing for the last month? They have not been behind. When Vegas went up 2-1, it was the first. Remember, the Panthers never trailed against Carolina. And the Panthers never trailed in Game 5 against Toronto. I mean, it had been a while since the Panthers had actually played a second of hockey from behind.
Well, and I thought, too, they got a gift goal for the first one, so to get another one would be big because they're offensively, I didn't think there was a lot going on for Florida in that game. The first wraparound goal was a bad goal. It just was.
Yep, shorthanded. Yeah, Vegas won the first period, and Vegas won the last 10 minutes. I thought Florida in the middle 30 was pretty darn good.
So we'll see tonight. One game apiece, winning Game 2 last night to even the series at 1. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. It's funny. I've done the same thing when he was batting. I think my wife said, Siri hit that, and all of a sudden this stupid thing jumps on.
Yeah, ambient, it locked up on my end. Mark locked up the last 15 seconds of that last segment on my end too.
I think it was that obviously came from this computer. I don't know why.
No, it's just a bad computer. Gator Dad, I am curious, in Miami, will the Heat, because they have not publicly said anything about Jokic and them not calling any offensive fouls on him. I'm curious too. What maybe on the road will he get called for an offensive foul or two?
The new Heat fan in my household is wondering that too.
Really?
My wife's not a basketball fan, but she's watching the game. She goes, okay, explain to me how he can just run people over every play and it's not a foul.
Ooh, Jokic?
Yeah. That was just her, that was just her observation. She said it a couple times now because she's figured out she's a Heat fan. She wants to go to a Heat game now. It came out in this series because she wasn't sure if it was I hate Boston in the last series, which that's an easy thing for her to do. But now she's watching this series rooting for him.
I got to tell you, it's a great time. Every time someone visits Miami, I always tell them, like, one of the best things to do is go to a Heat game. It's a great atmosphere, great vibe. It feels like a club at times. And great basketball. Good music. Good food. Really good food. Really expensive.
Good music is going to be in the eye of the beholder.
No. It's like a club. It's like a club.
No, actually, yes. It's going to be in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
Well,
and remember, Felipe,
3 hours of club music is not my idea of good music.
Right. His wife is over twice as old as you. So she may not enjoy the same music as you. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm
There's
just
a
saying.
Chance.
Obviously, the Heat, very interactive with the crowd. They get the moms to, shake the shoulders a little bit, a little shimmy.
Oh, I could see the wife with a little shimmy. Right. I will say, you know what a generic poll question could be? So if they put you on Kiss Cam, do you do it?
Yeah. How could you not? You want to get booed?
No, hold on. You got to remember, both people have to participate. I would do it. I would be willing to bet my wife would not.
I wouldn't. I mean, there wouldn't be a makeout session. She'd give me a peck.
Well, no, yeah.
It wouldn't be one of those couples.
No. Yeah.
But see, my first inclination would be to kiss my wife on the lips. I mean, not, nothing extravagant, but just to kiss her on the lips. And I think my wife would turn away. I think you'd get the crowd reaction.
I thought you were just going to say about the free samples. I thought we already had one. I thought we had the generic poll question right there.
Well, go for it. You could save this one for any day.
Exactly.
You gonna do? I nearly got taken out in aisle 4 over the weekend over a free sample. Are you a free sample person? Yay or nay? Yeah, rough, tough. How about them?
The best is whenever a couple decides not to do a kiss cam at a Bulls game, and then Benny the Bull will swoop in and steal his girl.
Well, my favorite is and it's happened at college campuses where there's a guy and a girl sitting next to one another. They're not dating.
Oh, yeah.
And so they get put on the kiss cam. And usually the girl is like, oh, no.
But the guy's like, eh?
Well, the guy's like, well, I mean, I'm game. I mean, I'll play along.
We're coming back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Ron Sirak will join us an hour from now. It was a historic golf weekend. We're 2 weeks away, really 10 days away from the U.S. Open on the men's side. The big names are seemingly playing well. And history made on the LPGA Tour, a 20-year-old American doing what hadn't been done in 72 years. And maybe she's the one. We'll talk to Ron Sirak about it coming up in an hour. 21,000 for the text line. If you've never texted us before, a keyword is needed. It's FSN Radio, all one word. Text FSN Radio to 21,000, and you're in through the security gate. You can lambaste us. You can ask us a question, make your point about whether it's the NBA Finals tied at 1. You like the Panthers tonight to even up the Stanley Cup Finals? The Rays in first. The Marlins in the playoffs if the playoffs started today.
Or simply like this guy who just texted, I'm a free samples guy. Love it.
And then there's that. Mark got
Moulton,
taken
not a
out.
free samples guy.
No, I'm not. Which
Is that because
shocking.
we're both overweight? Is that because you don't like the stigma of being the fat guy going to get the sample?
No, I like to eat. I have no problems. I know I'm fat. I call myself fat.
I know that, and we are. It is what it is.
No, I'll tell you exactly why I'm not a samples guy. It's not enough.
Ooh,
that's why.
So you would hog the line and take a couple.
Well, I would. Well, I wouldn't take a couple. I mean, they only give you the sample. Okay. The problem is, it's like, oh, well, this is interesting, or it's intriguing, or I wouldn't mind another sample. And while I do not have a problem making as many trips to the buffet line as is needed, why? I'm paying for that. I have no problem. I mean, I've been in an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. You know, Mark, you still call Southwest Florida home. A longtime local news anchor, Craig Wolf, and I, used to hit the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet near the local TV station that we worked at together. All right. I'd go up 5 times.
Oh, my gosh. I know exactly where you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yep.
I'd go up 5 times.
Mhm.
I have no problem. And he knew it. He knew, man. First off, we get an hour for dinner. This one's going to take an hour and a half. If you're going with Moulton to a buffet, it's going to have to take a little longer. See, you need to go to a buffet long enough where you can get your second wind. See, the buffet counts on you the initial, I'm full. Okay. No, you got to wait it out. And it only takes a few minutes to wait it out too. It's like when you're running in a race. You just need to get over that hump where you get your second wind.
If you think what I'm thinking right now, yes, you're right. David Moulton is the only person that can compare multiple trips to an all-you-can-eat buffet to running, because to him, it is.
It's a race. It is.
And
Hey,
it's not a sprint. It's a
no.
marathon.
Listen, marathon takes endurance. So does an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Man, I can't even imagine the work that Moulton would put in and like a Texas to Brazil. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's actually the place you should be at.
That
one
green,
of the Argentinian steakhouses where they just, you basically have the green and red cards. And they just keep coming with meat at your table and slicing meat.
And all kinds of meat. I mean lamb, I mean duck, I mean
Okay. And I would ask when I walked in, like just say we showed up for dinner at 6:30, and I would look at them and go, "What time do you close?" I'm just wondering, is there a time limit here? I mean, is there a thing they put on the table? Is it 60 minutes? Is it 90? I mean, how long do I have? Because I'm letting you know, I can do this all night. All night. And Mark, you've seen me.
I'll tell you what, if we make it to Christmas, David,
We make it to Christmas.
we're figuring out a way to get you back to the 239, and that's where we're having the Miller and Moulton Christmas party.
Yes.
With the $17 we have built back up into our
Don't worry.
LLC.
Don't worry.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think I've got it all the way back to about $32, $34 now. I had a good week last week after I lost it all on the Heat in Game 6 there or whatever. Game 4 against Boston. Lost all our money there. So that's all. I just want to know. Here's a key question. How many plates do you get? I need to know. Like when they come by and they go to grab your plate, before they take it, I just have a question.
No, it's just one plate, right? Because they just come slicing the meat.
Yeah, they give you a card that one side is green and the other side is red for no, I'm good.
And as long as the card's on green,
They
David,
just
they
keep
just
coming.
keep bringing you meat.
Well, first off, I wouldn't need the red side of the card.
Just get another card.
I mean, it'd be like that drinking game where you stick the card to your forehead. I mean, I would
Right.
just have the green. Make sure I would go, Mark. Is the green side showing? Good. Okay. I mean, That's all. And I just need to know, like certain places, believe it or not, they just assume, only one plate. Now I know a lot of places with hygiene now, they don't want you bringing your plate up. So I just clarify. I go, so I can go up as many times as I want, as many plates as I want to use. And they'll go, yes. Okay. Just making sure.
Miller and Moulton. Heat coming off of a big win. Duncan Robinson, the man in the fourth quarter last night, coming off the bench, scoring 10 points, 7 more than he'd scored in the 7 quarters prior.
And of course, Gabe Vincent, the second leading scorer in the game, leading scorer for the Heat. Series tied at 1. It's all we asked for from Miami. Can you give us a series? And they have. And if it can be 2-2 going back to Denver, okay. All right. Maybe put a little pressure on the Nuggets. I mean, let's be brutally honest. If the Heat only have one win left in them, don't you want it to be game 3? I mean, don't you? Because Denver's not trailed in the playoffs. They were up 3-0 on Minnesota, 1 in 5. They were up 2-0 on Phoenix. Phoenix held serve at home. Then Denver won the last 2, swept the Lakers. I mean, Denver's not trailed yet in the postseason. And Denver didn't have a ton of trouble in their 3 home games with Phoenix either. I mean, Phoenix held serve at home, but Denver didn't really get challenged in those 3 home games against the Suns either.
They didn't have trouble in their first 7 quarters against Miami. I mean, it was an 8-point lead entering the fourth quarter, which they had cut from 15.
We'll say now. I mean, most of us, admittedly, we dismissed the fourth quarter of game 1 because the Heat trailed by 21? Something like that. 83-62, I think, going to the fourth in game 1. But obviously the Heat outscored the Nuggets by 10 in the fourth quarter of game 1. Well, they just outscored them by 11 in the fourth quarter of game 2. It's funny. I thought the altitude was supposed to affect the road team. It's interesting. Miami is owning the fourth quarters. And, Mark, they did it 2 fourth quarters in a row. Remember they started the fourth quarter of game 1 with the 11-0 run to cut 21-10? What'd they do last night? Started the fourth quarter 15-2 with Jimmy Butler on the bench.
Playing the zone in the fourth quarter. And I do think part of it, I mentioned earlier, but they did a really nice job. And it was Vincent mostly of denying Jokic the ball on the free throw line. You had talked about that, David. What do you do against the zone? Where do you want to get the ball? You want to get it to Jokic. You want to get him the ball on the free throw line. If you can do that, you have completely wrecked the zone. Well, Miami did a great job of denying him the ball at the free throw line.
And they have to. Because like you said, if he gets it, your defense is wrecked. He only had 4 assists last night.
Spoelstra got a little annoyed in the post-game presser with the question about, letting him score and just started rambling about how great he is. And I was a little surprised at his overreaction to the question, just making him a score. It's like, you can't do that. Well, you just did. I don't know what to tell you, Spo. He had 4 assists. You denied him the ball at the free throw line in the fourth quarter, and they didn't make plays.
But I think they were willing to live with Jokic shooting 2s. He got his. They made sure the rest didn't get theirs. And as it was, they still scored 108. I mean, the Nuggets did not have a bad quarter offensively, but they had 2 bad quarters defensively. And we got ourselves a series, and we'll see if the Panthers, even though in hockey, 2-0 is not as nearly as big a deficit as it is in basketball because the whole goaltending factor and the bounce of the puck. And do you know it was the first time, because Vegas scored an empty net goal to win 5-2. So they scored 4 goals with Bob, in the net, if you will. It was the first time since the first round series against the Bruins that Bob had given up more than 3 in a game.
That's how good he's been.
And I didn't think Vegas did anything all that different, quite frankly, Mark, than what Carolina did. I mean, Florida gives you the point. Florida sags in and they will give it. You can throw it back to the point. Sometimes the point's open by 15 feet. They're fine with giving you the point. They figure we got 5 guys to block the shot, and the goalie's pretty good too. You're not going to score from 50, 55 feet. And the oddity that happened, 2-2 mid-third, Vegas scored the go-ahead goal on a wrister from just inside the blue line, in which Bob got screened by his own guy and never saw it.
To me, the biggest difference in game one that we hadn't seen really since the Boston series is how good Vegas is line 1 to line 4. They were able with their fourth line to earn penalties in the game, and I thought that was the biggest difference, that Vegas just kept coming, and Florida had not seen that from a physical standpoint. Carolina is a good team, but they're not nearly as tough. They're not as they like to say, heavy. And I thought Vegas really worked Florida down low, particularly with that fourth line, and earned some power plays, and that was the demise of the Panthers. But I think the penalties will be a little different tonight.
You think Florida will commit a few less?
Yes. I think they'll play a much more disciplined game. I thought they were a little undisciplined at times. I thought they were really trying to make sure that they brought the physical game to Vegas. Vegas is right there with them physically. They're not going to intimidate Vegas.
I also thought the puck luck that the Panthers had against Carolina, I mean, they got every bounce against Carolina. I mean, you got to admit, if you're Carolina, you're walking off the ice after the handshakes going, man, we just played pretty well for a week and got swept. But I thought the puck luck went Vegas's way in game one. And now maybe this is the series in which, Vegas is due to get it, and Florida, you could argue, had it last series and they don't get it this series. But also it's need to point out, Vegas won game 1 of the finals 5 years ago against the Caps. Didn't win another game. It's just one game.
In a pregame that will take 47 minutes tonight, and for whatever reason, we have to show the whole entire thing.
By the way, they may want to think about moving that studio show. It was too loud. Mark, we've both broadcasts, and there are times in which we're in the arena and the arena is so damn loud, and you're asking your engineer and your producer, hey, can you guys hear me okay? Because I can't even hear myself in my headsets. Mark, that pregame show, I mean, Gretzky couldn't hear any of the other guys on set, what they were saying. Not a word. It was so loud. And Liam McHugh even referenced it postgame, in which he's like, wow, nice to be able to do a show in which we can all hear each other.
And it is a long, drawn-out pregame.
It is fun, though.
Is it?
It's a show. Yeah, it's a show. Come on. Plus, that was game 1. It won't be as long and as drawn out for game 2. On the weekends, they got nothing going on the weekends. For whatever. They'll want to keep it in between 8 and 11 tonight. On the weekends, they don't really care.
I hope you're right.
Me too. We got to get up and do a show.
But game 2 tonight in Vegas, see if the Panthers can even things up like the Heat did last night with a great performance in Denver, handing the Nuggets their first home playoff loss of this postseason. The Heat getting it done last night with a tremendous fourth quarter. Gabe Vincent leading the way, and Duncan Robinson with a masterful game off the bench, particularly in the fourth quarter. He had all 10 of his points there, and they get the win. We will talk golf coming up in the 8 o'clock hour with Ron Sirak, a big weekend on the links. We'll have that coming up for you in a moment on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East. expertise.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Felipe, did you get my text?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
How's is Soph still working at the whatever?
Yes.
How's that place doing?
I mean, it's fine. It's just not season, so it's slow.
Yeah, I know, but how did they do well enough in season to think it's going to work? Because every time I've been in there, it's dead.
Yeah. I mean, it opened in January, so yeah, they opened like in the middle of the season. It should do well come August, just because that's when move-in is.
Right.
And like that's literally like a college living place. But yeah, I again, this is like my third summer here. It is dead.
What was the Blade score last night?
5-3.
Thank you.
Game one, it was 3-2 in overtime. I'm trying to think if it was one overtime or two. And dramatic final 5 minutes last night. Final 6 minutes. Nearly blew a 4-1 lead. But family reasons, Tretherian. Not necessarily something I wanted to do, but had no choice, literally. So we did talk about Caldwell Pope, DC, earlier, and did he have a rough game? Well, thanks. I mean, I'm not dead. Still visit the 239. I'll be there in a month.
Oh, yeah?
We'll do a couple shows. Second week, the week after our vacation week.
Okay.
That Thursday, Friday. Adam, you are the first person to make a comment about the French Open since it started.
$30 seconds.
It was really funny, the NASCAR race yesterday, in which literally they were passing handwritten notes to each other during the race.
That's
Unreal.
funny.
Yeah.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Monday of June. Thanks so much for being with us. Third and final hour along the network anyway. Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We're just halfway home in the 239. Thanks for being with us. Hope you had a great weekend and for starting your week off with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. A lot going on, as there always is. NBA Finals, even at a game apiece. Vegas took game one Saturday night of the Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers try to even things up tonight. Rays are in first by 4. Best record in baseball. Marlins are a wild card team. Thank you very much. 60 games into the season. Just got done sweeping the A's, which is what you're supposed to do to the A's. Second place in the East. Let's see how long this lasts, as the Mets and Phillies certainly look flawed. Who knows? Who knows? Actually had somebody text me over the weekend, Mark, and say, with the split season you're advocating, I go, don't go there. No. I'm an idiot. You're all right. I'm wrong. It's a dumb idea.
We know.
But there'd only be about 21 games left in said season. Okay, we're trying to make the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. For certain franchises, that'd be a good thing. For others, not so much. But 10 days away from the U.S. Open, got the French Open going on. Boy, talk about a sport in which in this country, nobody cares. I mean, honestly, Mark, if we did a poll question in which we said, hey, this coming weekend, there's only 2 choices on television for you to watch, USFL or the French Open. I don't know if the French Open would win.
It'd be close.
Whew.
It'd be really close.
I mean, that's how much. I mean, this used to be a big deal. Like an hour and a half ago, you had the Williams sisters, you had Federer and Nadal. Still got Djokovic, but if he doesn't have anybody to foil against.
Big deal. Has there ever been a time that the French Open was really a big deal?
Well,
I'm not being, you love it. Felipe likes tennis a lot. I like tennis a lot. But the French, a big deal. Are you sure?
I meant more tennis was a big deal. And you're right. I've never been a French Open guy. Certain people had to have gotten to a certain point of the tournament for me to be all in on the French Open. Like when Agassi made his run and won it, late in his career, I think it was 99. I was all in.
Well, are you just saying that because Rafa wins it every year?
No, it's the television numbers. NBC took it off of, it was the first major to go off of the networks. NBC made a decision a couple of decades ago that no one's watching the French Open. They dumped it. It for whatever reason, the style, the clay, it doesn't intrigue people the way that Wimbledon and the U.S. Open do. That's all I'm saying.
And also, Felipe, I do think it has something to do with the fact that American tennis, once you got past the 70s and 80s, American tennis in the last 30 years, that's not our surface. Even Serena, that was her worst surface. And it's weird too, because Venus loves clay. And she said, like, this is my favorite tournament. Yet she won 5 Wimbledons, and I don't even know if she ever won the French. But she said, this is my favorite surface.
That's all.
Yeah, Pete Sampras never won a French Open.
Only made the semis once. And it was the year, I think in 96, when they didn't rain at all, and the courts played as hard and as fast as they ever had. And he made it as, further than he ever went before, because he could literally play serve and volley tennis. Because it was like playing on concrete. But yeah, I mean, you get past on the men's side, after Sampras and Agassi in the 90s, Courier won 2 in the early 90s. Michael Chang won his in 87. I mean, you got an American male story from the last 20 years you'd like to talk about at the French Open?
Do you have an American male story in the last 20 years like to talk about in tennis?
Well, but even Roddick, he made 5 Grand Slam finals. 20 years ago, he won the U.S. Open, but he didn't do squat at Roland Garros.
And besides, I hear their free samples there are terrible.
Plus, they hate us, which I don't understand. I don't. We bailed their blanks out 80 years ago in a big way. They were there for us in the 18th century. We were there for them in the mid-20th. I don't know why there's not an understanding. The U.S. and the French, Mark, should be like a guy friendship. We don't have to be in touch all the time. We don't even have to always get along the whole time. But if you need me, if you call me and say, hey, they're like, yeah, I'll be right there. Absolutely. What do you need? Yeah, done. And you turn to your wife and she's like, you haven't talked to him yet. I don't know what to tell you. He needs me. I mean, that's what the U.S.-French relationship should be. We don't have to talk to one another forever. But if one of us calls the other, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm there.
And instead, we hang up on the other one.
I know.
Such a beautiful thing. You haven't talked to him in 10 years. That's my guy.
That's right. I don't know what to tell you. Tom called. He needs
I'll see you late tonight. We're going out. That's all there
Right.
is to it. Got to meet him for a beer.
Yeah. He says he's in town. He's got to talk to me. When was the last time you talked to him? Oh, I don't know. The Obama administration. But don't know what to tell you. He says it's important. Unlike you, honey, when Tom calls and tells me it's important, it's important. You're just telling me to, remind me I forgot the bananas. Just saying. Oh, the tangents get us in so much trouble. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Did you see or hear what happened during the Red Sox-Rays game? I mean, they played 3 of them over the weekend, but I think it was Saturday. They played a doubleheader.
Played a doubleheader on Saturday.
Right. Did you see or hear the moment during the Red Sox broadcast of, I think it was game 1? Have you ever had this happen to you before? Where Siri just starts talking.
Oh no. It happened in the Rays game where there's 2 series in operation here.
That's right. And apparently, legendary Red Sox broadcaster Joe Castiglione was letting his audience know that Jose Siri was coming up to bat. And that triggered a response from the other Siri.
Still only one out for Jose Siri. 4 men have reached base, 2 have scored.
Which Joseph Castiglione.
Wait a minute. Did you hear that?
I don't know where that
Siri.
came from. That was Siri. That was Siri. Came through on the iPhone. Siri's at the plate. I'm not asking you, Siri. This Siri, that's Siri.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah. You know, damn phones, Mark.
Keep it out of the booth. See, that's what happens. They're all around. You got it on you all the time.
So I just thought I'd.
Oh, Jose Siri triggered Siri.
Right. Right. And I guess now all broadcasters doing a Rays game are going to have to keep that in mind. Man, I can't have the Castiglione thing happen to me. Turn the phone, at least mute it or something, buzz it, whatever. So Rays took 2 of the first 3. Final game of that series, by the way, 4:00 today. McClanahan going for the Rays, looking for 3 out of 4.
Boy, and they could be up. They could have all 3 because they blew the first game of the series. They were up 4-0 in that game and let it slip away with the bullpen.
Well, and it was a bullpen game, though. You know, they did the opener and then the next guy, and they got into the 5th or 6th inning, and they had the 4-1 lead, and then, just couldn't get out of the inning and ended up losing that one, but came back, won the nightcap, and won yesterday, and now go for 3 out of 4. And, you got to credit the Rays here. This is still during that 39-game stretch where, in theory, everyone they were going to play had a winning record. Well, one of the teams that they ended up playing when they played them ended up like a game or 2 below 500. But when this 39-game stretch, was coming about, the Rays had played the easiest schedule in baseball. I believe their lead is every bit as big, if not a game bigger now than it was before they started this 39-game stretch.
What's crazy is how well Texas is playing. Texas is only like a game and a half behind the Rays right now. For as good of the start the Rays have, Texas has just been playing unbelievable baseball.
They just swept Seattle, and they are scoring runs, man. They're scoring like 10, 12 runs a game. They're like a college baseball team. They're scoring so many runs. And they're doing this with DeGrom on the injured list. That's a shock, by the way, Jacob DeGrom on the injured list.
But what is a shock is how well they're playing without him. You're counting on the ace in a big way, and they pushed all their chips in this year, and it's working out right now for the Texas Rangers.
Well, in the last 2 years of free agency, they've spent $800 million. That's not an exaggeration. They've spent $800 million. And then they talked Bruce Bochy out of retirement. Well, Hall of Fame manager and $800 million. I guess you can contend. But also all their signings, Mark, literally every single one. They've signed 7 big money players, 6 of them in DeGrom, and they're all paying dividends. We've seen a lot of teams in a lot of sports spend big money, and it's all like, uh-oh. The Rangers right now are damn near batting 1,000 in the last 2 off seasons.
And that's how you have nearly the best record in baseball when everybody is just killing it right now for the Rangers. As David said, they swept the Mariners over the weekend. But the Rays looking to get 3 or 4 from the Sox today, as they do have the best record in the game. Ron Sirak will talk to us about what's going on in the golf world in 25 minutes. Thank you for listening. Right here, Miller and Moulton. Where else but the Florida Sports Network?
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, Only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, those two teams, RCB, have met in the playoffs before. Yes, they are, Logic Man. Trying to make sure they don't go back to Boise. Hops, the only reason we bring it up is because they're so rude to us. Just thought there'd be a little appreciation. That's all. I mean, just no need to be rude.
Oh, that's awesome. Victor Hovland's looping for a buddy today.
Trying to make that open. That's awesome. Is it Oklahoma State, buddy?
Yep.
Is that 18 or 36?
36. Golf's longest day, they call it.
How about I got a couple football things, and then maybe we end the segment with that, leading into Ron Sirak?
Sure.
I was all in on it, by the way, Rosang. I was all in watching it yesterday. Interested me far more than the Memorial.
Bills signed Leonard Floyd to a 1-year deal.
Yep.
Oh, wow, Wes, you don't think there's that many likable guys on the PGA Tour? All right. Man, does my wife root for Rory, too.
Really? Is that for the obvious reason?
I don't know the reason. I don't know if she thinks he's good.
Right. That's what I'm wondering, that she just finds him attractive.
But she roots for
him.
Because I don't. Yes, he is, Spitz.
Don't you think if he ever wins a big one again, he's going to have to do it by like 6? It'll just be one of those deals where he just shows up with the A game and beats everybody.
He beats everybody like a drum.
Right.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Ron Sirak will join us in less than 20 minutes' time. It was a historic golf weekend. We're 10 days away from the U.S. Open. Our golf buddy Ron Sirak to join us in 10 minutes' time. Heat have evened up the NBA Finals. Panthers looking to even up the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. But, Mark, we have not mentioned the magic numbers today. 94 days away from Lions and Chiefs. 87 days away from Gators and Utes. And 82 days away, if you're counting week 0, when Notre Dame and USC, they don't play each other, but they do play. There are 7 games in 82 days. If you're just, foaming at the mouth and ready for some big-time college football. So 82, 87, and 94 are your magic numbers. The Bills just signed somebody in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, Leonard Floyd.
That's a good signing. He turns 31 before they play their first game this year. So he will play this season at 31 years of age. But, Mark, he's had 9 or more sacks in each of his last 3 years.
And it gives him a little depth with Von Miller coming back from the knee.
Because what happened to the Bills' defense after Von Miller got hurt?
Not much, David.
They could not get near a quarterback if they were playing 11 on 10. And it really came back to bite them. I mean, the Dolphins scored all those points against them in the playoff game. The Bengals totally controlled the line of scrimmage and the game. And so Bills think they'll have Von Miller back for the opener against the Jets, which is interesting. Remember, that was a Thanksgiving Day injury against the Lions. That was an ACL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's 9.5 months later. It's about right. 9.5 months later for a 30-something with an ACL. So if he's on the field, it's hard for me to believe he's going to be, quote, 100%, unquote. But at least now he's got somebody. And remember, Von teamed up with Floyd with the Rams a couple years ago, helped them win a Super Bowl. Had Aaron Donald in the middle. That really helped.
Certainly didn't hurt.
No, that really helps. Not a lot of double teams coming your way when you got the unblockable force in the middle. But so just some of the football things that have gone on. There are teams. DeAndre Hopkins is still out there. Where's he going to end up? A handful of teams picked up real salary cap room after June 1st because of the designated cuts that they had put in place. So there's actually somebody now who should be able to pay D-Hop. Question is, Mark, he's 31. He's coming off 2 down years. Do you think he's damaged goods and he doesn't have another great year in him? Do you still look at DeAndre Hopkins as a 1? Because if you do, that's 15, 18 plus million. If you think he's just a really good or elite number 2, that's a different story. Like, put it this way, Mark. If the Cleveland Browns are signing DeAndre Hopkins, who do you think's the number 1 receiver? Amari Cooper or D-Hop?
Yes. That's about what and I'm not trying to mince this, but I do think, David, I don't know if he's a 1 in the sense of I've got to stop this guy in order to win one.
Right.
Like a team like Cleveland, where you've got Amari Cooper and a D-Hop, wow, that puts a lot of pressure on a defense.
Like, let's be honest, 2 years ago when that season ended, you looked at DeAndre Hopkins and he was one of the top 5 receivers in the game. You talked about him the way we talk about Diggs and Jefferson and Chase now. I mean, that's how you talked about D-Hop 2 years ago. Well, it's 2 years ago. He got injured. He had a 6-game suspension. Then he got injured again. He wasn't really inspired to play last year. I think he's going to end up in Kansas City. If you look at them closely, don't get fooled by how great Mahomes is. Travis Kelce is an hour away from starting to slow down. He's 33 years old. Now, I'm not saying he's just going to hit the wall and fall off the face of the earth, but I'm just saying that Kelce's right at the end of his prime. And they lost a bunch of receptions and touchdowns from their wide receiving core this offseason. Remember, their top receivers last year were on 1-year deals.
And they're both gone.
And so you sure Skylar Moore and Tony? But see, they're really good when they're the number 3, number 4 guys. Keep them in their role. Now, put a D-Hop, who's not going to get a ton of double coverage because of number 87. And I'm telling you, I think it's going to come down to Cleveland or Kansas City. And Cleveland might be able to offer more money, but we know what Kansas City can offer.
Where would you go if you were D-Hop?
I
would too. I would take less money and chase the ring.
Yeah, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, you're damn right. Plus, the field's grass. Also, if I'm even worried about my body and I'm 31 years old and what have you, and to be honest, Andy Reid doesn't care about if you're a great practice player or what have you. I mean, Andy's really good at working with, ever since T.O., Andy's been really good working with temperamental guys. So I think they'd be fine with D-Hop.
Well, yeah, because it's a lot easier to be that way with temperamental guys when you really need them. I mean, Travis Kelce was on, I think, FanDuel TV where he says we're 100% a dynasty. To me, you walk right up to that line. But you get one more, then you for sure say it. And they need another weapon.
By the way, and D-Hop is not washed either. I mean, last year he obviously served that suspension. He only played 7 games, but he played 2 games with Kyler Murray. And in his first game back from his suspension, he had 103 yards, And in his second and only other game with Kyler Murray, he had 159 yards and a touchdown.
I'm not saying he's washed, but
No,
I'm
I
not
know.
saying I don't know if he's a true quote unquote one anymore.
Like Felipe, we all raised our eyebrow when the Ravens paid $18 million for Odell. And I love my diva wide receivers. All right. And I think Odell's terrific. But we all went, damn. 2 major injuries, 30, 31 years old, 18 million. D-Hop is certainly saying what you're saying, Felipe. He's going, well, listen, if Odell got 18, I got to get 18. Are you paying 18 million for him?
I'm
yes
just
or
saying.
no? No.
Yeah.
But you think of him the way you do. But then there's 18 million that has to go with that. You paying that?
I think he's worth Odell's current contract.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I do think, Mark, by the way, a Cleveland or a Kansas City signs him to the 1-year big money deal too. Maybe with an option for a second year. Could even be a mutual option.
Well, and that's where if I'm Kansas City, I win the race by signing him to 2. Give him 2 years, don't pay him as much money. And lock in that second year.
But basically, we're saying, is he $1 million a game player? Because that's certainly what he's asking for. And that's a pay cut from what his last contract was.
And that part isn't going to go away. So we'll see what D-Hop's worth on the open market. When we come back, we'll switch gears and head to the links. First time in 72 years something happened yesterday. We'll talk about it next.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Oh, God. Slim and none. Canada relief.
Well, remember, once the season starts and they lock in who their players are, if they sign someone, they have to kick somebody off. Now, they did do that throughout their first year. They were constantly signing guys and letting guys go. But the guys who were letting go were journeyman players or players who probably didn't belong on the tour.
Of which they still probably have 10 they could boot.
Yeah.
And Wes, I've not heard anything about Hopkins to Philly.
No.
Not saying it wouldn't, but I've not seen anything. Nothing.
No, nothing at all.
By the way, D-Hop turns 32 tomorrow. Or 31 tomorrow. My bad.
It's like Floyd turns 31. I think the first weekend of the NFL season.
Who?
Leonard Floyd, which we were just talking about.
Oh.
Which led into D-Hop.
Oh, right.
Royce just tweeted out, this was impressive. Twins managed to equal season high, striking out 16 times Sunday without either Gallo or Bergson in the lineup. That right there is outstanding depth and flailing. He's great.
I love him.
Hopkins.
Which is interesting because remember who finished second for OBJ? The Jets. So would they dare enter the D-Hop sweepstakes? Listen, if I'm the Jets, I got 1 to 3 years with this quarterback. I'm all in. Canada relief, by the way, the guy that I'm curious about this offseason, will they get Matsuyama? Because reportedly last year they were very close twice.
Ron Sirak's on hold. Are you talking about Liv?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be big.
Heidi's dad, 31, is not young, though. I mean, just because a few guys are really terrific doesn't mean that most are. And yeah, Wake was a marvel. Imagine if he had spent his whole career in the NFL.
15. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour, the final segment of Miller and Moulton along the network in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. The bonus hour for the 239 awaits at the top of the hour. Ron Sirak, kind enough to join us once again. He contributes to the Golf Channel. He writes regularly at Ron Sirak, SIRAK.com, and that's how you follow him on Twitter, at Ron Sirak. Ron, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm doing great. Always good to be on with you guys. Pretty special stuff yesterday from Rose Zhang, huh?
Well, and that's why we called you, because Ron, you're a distinguished golf writer. There is not much you have not literally seen in your career, but you hadn't seen what took place yesterday. 72 years since a woman wins her LPGA debut as a professional, and she's 20. And today she's taking her finals at Stanford and cleaning out her dorm room. I mean, this is an all-timer, isn't it?
Yeah, and one of the things that I really loved about what Rose did yesterday is she did not have her A game. She did not. She made no birdies on Sunday, but she grinded it out, and that just shows to succeed in pro golf, you need the talent to do it, but you need to be competitively tough. You need to have the maturity to know how to roll with the punches. And she showed all that. She was, I think, emotionally and physically exhausted at the end of a very, very long week from her. On Tuesday, before the tournament, she spent 3 hours with the media, doing media obligations. It was not only the press on site, but then there was Golf Channel, ESPN, local television, because it's in the New York City media market. She dealt with all of that and then still figured out some way to get it done on Sunday. That was remarkable.
Well, like you said, Ron, she didn't play her best golf yesterday. Just how high are we going to set the bar for this young lady?
Well, we've talked about this before. Both the men's game and the women's game are in a similar place. They're waiting for their next transcendent star. The men are waiting for the next Tiger Woods. The women are waiting for the next Annika Sorenstam. On both the men's and the women's side, we've hung that mantle on a lot of people who came along, and none of them lived up to it. I think one of the things that Rose reminds me of another Stanford sophomore that I covered in 1996 when he turned pro, and that's Tiger Woods, in that she's taken this next step up and she's well prepared to do it. She's won 28 amateur tournaments. She won the U.S. Girls Junior, the U.S. Women's Open, the Augusta National Women's Amateur, the NCAA Individual twice. So she has moved incrementally up. So she's ready for this next step. I think we set the bar very, very high for her. And the fact that we saw that she could handle all that hoopla of yesterday and hang on to win really says a lot about her competitive toughness.
Ron, between the two of us, we did a show about 12 years ago in which it was during this time of year too, not, as much going on out of football season. And we asked each other, if you had a sport that you came into a bunch of money and you'd buy into right now, what would it be? And Mark's answer was the MLS, and he's certainly proven to be right. And my answer was the LPGA Tour. And I think it was even before Michelle Wie won the U.S. Open, if you know what I mean. I just thought that, this was going to happen. And it's a lot to put on a 20-year-old Californian, but she went to Stanford just like Wie and Tiger. Okay. She's won as an amateur, just like Tiger did. I mean, Ron, she's got the best resume in the last 40 years who's not Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah, she won more tournaments at Stanford than Tiger Woods did at Stanford. They both played 2 years there. She is. Look, the nobody in women's golf moved the needle as much as Michelle Wie did since Nancy Lopez, and I'll even include Annika in there. Michelle Wie moved the needle enormously, and she never really lived up to the expectations we had for her. Here's a crucial difference between Rose Zhang and Michelle Wie. Is that Michelle Wie, when she was 14, 15, 16 years old, was trying to make a cut on the PGA Tour. Rose Zhang, when she was 14, 15, and 16-year-olds, was beating 14, 15, and 16-year-old players. She was learning how to win. I remember asking Tiger Woods' father, Earl, once, were you ever tempted to turn Tiger pro early at 16, 17, 18, 19? And Earl said, nope, I was never going to do anything to undermine his confidence. My strategy was to build up a mindset of domination And by the time Tiger turned pro, in his heart of hearts, he believed he could beat anybody. And that's exactly what he did. And I think Rose has taken the same steps along the way.
Want to switch to the men's side because Hovland gets the win yesterday. He's caddying for a college teammate today, 36 holes in the U.S. Open qualifier. It's not going to be too long before we're talking about Victor Holland and major victories, aren't we?
You know, it's hard not to root for Victor Hovland. You know, he is just a really likable guy. The fact that he's doing this for his friend in one of the longest days in golf, the U.S. Open qualifiers out there. And yes, you know, he's been my pick in both of the majors that have been played so far this year. You know, I keep expecting him to have that breakthrough win. I think, you know, he's won on the PGA Tour before. This is the first time he's won in the United States on the tour. I think that's going to be a big boost for him. But he's a breath of fresh air. And look at his posture sometimes. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Arnold Palmer. He's got that same sort of curved back, stoop-shouldered stance over the golf ball. And he plays with similar passion as Arnold.
I'm not a huge golf analytics guy, Ron, for whatever that's worth. But apparently, tee to green, Scheffler was 21 strokes better than the average guy in the Memorial Field. And yet he didn't win. Apparently, his putting was that bad. He finished one shot out of the playoff. You know, he kind of had that game with him at the PGA as well. I mean, is Scheffler's putter holding him back from dominating?
I don't think he made a putt over 9 feet at the Memorial. You know, and he was still in there. You know, right to the very, very end. The concerning thing about putters is it gets in your head, man, you know, and when you start to, when the image that you have in your mind, when you're over a 7-foot putt is all the 7-footers that you've missed, that's a tough image to shake. Now I think that Scotty, he's got that mental discipline to get past that, but these next few weeks are going to be big for him. He does not want this to linger on much longer. He does not want to. He doesn't want people to start talking about, does Scotty have a putting problem? Because once you're talking about it, it's hard to get that thought out of your head.
Well, and they are already talking about it because, as you said, I mean, there's nobody hitting the ball better right now. The fact that he's able to do this, Ron, you mentioned it quickly there. Mentally, how tough is this guy? Because to be able to continue to hit the ball this well when you're putting as badly as he is, that's hard.
It is hard, and I've seen it happen to other people. I saw it happen to Tom Watson. I saw it happen to Nick Faldo. And what can happen when you're not making the putts, it starts to put pressure on the rest of your game. You start thinking, I got to hit the ball closer because I'm not making any putts. And then when you start pressing that way, then it has the domino effect, and then the other parts of your game start to fall apart. So he's got to stem this tide before it gets to that point. In the case of Watson and Faldo both, there were two players that once their putters started to go south on them, they never really got it back.
They were older, though. Okay, you know, Tom didn't win a major after, 34.
And probably didn't have quite, although those are two really, really mentally tough people. But Scotty's got he's had a lot of success over the last year and a half. So he has a lot of positive memories stored in that brain.
Ron Sirak, RonSirak.com, and the Golf Channel. Follow Ron on Twitter at Ron Sirak, Sirak. You know, Rory had spent a lot of time working on his putting the last 2 years with Brad Faxon, and also his wedge play in the last year had gotten noticeably better. Still not in the top half, but noticeably better. He made 4 bogeys with the wedge in his hand yesterday, and he putted like a 12 handicapper. Ron, this seems to be in his head.
Yeah, I had, before this year, I always said that with a wedge in his hand, Rory McIlroy's a 7 handicap. You know, he was not a pro, and he seemed to have fixed it. But it took a huge step backwards this week at the Memorial. The number of times he had a scoring club in his hand and couldn't hit the ball close enough. He's sort of becoming Mickelson-like in that he is a lot of fun to watch because you look at his scorecard and he's all over the place. He's still making a ton of birdies, but he's making way, way, way too many mistakes.
What do you attribute it to, Ron? I mean, is there anything that you can say of why you think Rory's doing this? Because obviously, as you mentioned, he makes enough birdies to win every week, but he's making too many crooked numbers.
I felt this way about Rory from the very beginning, and I was at his first PGA Tour win in 2010 when he was 20 years old, but he has never struggled particularly well. Great players. Tiger Woods won with his B game, probably less than his B game, a lot. And Rory, when he has his A game, is the best player in the world. But what he hasn't figured out how to do is to win when he doesn't have his A game. And sometimes he just gets down on himself. If he hits a couple of those bad shots, it gets into his head and it lingers. He carries it over to the next hole. And the great players learn how to let go of those bad shots, learn how to play like Rose Zhang did yesterday without their best stuff. Rory's not good at playing without his best stuff.
He's at that magic age too, Ron. He's 34. We all know Arnie never won a major after 34. Watson never won a major after 34. Okay, and his drought now is damn near 9 years to the month that Rory hasn't won a major. He's, it's not too old to win. DJ won a Masters in his late 30s. We obviously saw what Phil did, but lately, Ron, Koepka at just 31 when he won the PGA. But I mean, in the last 8 majors, I think Koepka's the oldest winner, Ron. I mean, 34 he's top 5 in the world, and I feel like we're talking about him like he's on the downside.
Yeah, Ben Hogan didn't win his first major till he was 34 years old and then won 9. But he hadn't won any before that. The fact that, I keep wondering, what's the more staggering statistic? The fact that Rory McIlroy had won 4 majors by his 25th birthday, or the fact that he's now gone 9 years without winning a major? I mean, and that is just, it is baffling to me. And how many times has he put himself in the position, where he's gone into the weekend, he's gone into Sunday, and it was right there in front of him, and he let it slip away. And I thought that the whole live golf stuff was going to light the fire under him. I thought he was playing with a new passion last year. I thought he was practicing that short game and getting better at it. And I'm sort of very, very surprised that he's taken what looks like to me as a major step backwards this year.
Ron, as always, appreciate your time and your insight. A bunch of major championships coming up on both tours. Safe travels. Hopefully we can catch up down the road.
I'll be at the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach, and that'll be my next chance to see Rose Zhang. So maybe we'll talk to you from out there.
That'll be awesome. Safe travels. Ron Sirak, Golf Channel, ronsirak.com, SIRAK, and that's how you follow him on Twitter, at Ron Sirak.
We got to just point at Rory now. There's no more this, he was taking on the Live Tour. That was too much for him. He couldn't be the face of the PGA Tour taking on Live Golf and continue to win. So he backed off from that, and he quit being the mouthpiece against Live. Well, now he's not doing that anymore, and he can't win. So how about we just say that Rory has whatever the reasons are, but it's Rory. It's not Live Golf. It's not the PGA Tour. It's Rory.
And remember, he won the Tour Championship last year on both tours. I mean, he ended last year strong. Yeah, he didn't win a major, had the lead going into the final round of the Open Championship. Let that one get away. They were going low that day, and Rory shot like even par. But, I mean, he finished last year strong. I mean, 6 or so months ago, Rory was the number 1 player in the world. Rahm and Scheffler were trying to catch Rory.
And right now, if I were to give you all 3 for the U.S. Open to pick one, he'd be picked last.
Absolutely. Absolutely. LA Country Club, by the way, hosting the U.S. Open in 10 days.
Open qualifiers going on around the country and in Canada today. The longest day in golf, they called, as we mentioned, Victor Hovland caddying for a buddy that he played college golf with at Oklahoma State.
Did you tell me during a break that Michael Block and his son are trying to qualify?
They're both trying to qualify, one in L.A., the other one in Toronto, because the old man's playing in the RBC this week. Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We'll do it again tomorrow. The bonus hour in the 239's next.
Auto Parts and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Sergio qualified for the U.S. Open. He qualified last week. Bunch of Naples guys trying to qualify today.
30 seconds. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Monday of June. Hope you had a good weekend, and thanks for starting your week off with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was a day when. Some final thoughts. And a big hockey game to talk about a little bit later on tonight. Speaking of hockey, how about the Blades?
2-0 on Idaho?
In Boise? Damn. Last night's game got crazy. So they win game one in overtime, and they are taking it to Boise. They're up 4-1. There's like 6 minutes to go. I mean, they're cruising, baby. Start the bus. This party's over. And then, whoo-wee. So I guess a ticky-tack penalty. And Idaho pulls a goalie, so they're playing 6-on-4. They score. Oh, okay. I guess the Blades then have a horrendous turnover, okay, in their own zone. Puck ends up at the back of the net. Bang.
So now we're 4-3.
And we got like 5.5 minutes to play, 5 minutes to go. And then, like, next shift, we get a 4-minute penalty called against the Blades.
Sounds like, David, to me, the Blades had all the what? Momentum.
Mark, they really did. Really did. So now 4-1's 4-3, and Boise's got a 4-minute power play to basically end the game, because I think the penalty was with like 4.5 minutes to go. And Boise's going to pull their goalie, so the power play is going to be a 6-on-4. And imagine, Mark, if Boise ties it up. But Blades wouldn't let them tie it. And they get the empty net shorthanded goal with about 30 seconds to go to put the sucker away. 5-3. Up to Spit. They got 3 chances to win 2 games and win their 3rd Kelly Cup.
I had to laugh. I give Mike Kelly, their PR guy, and he does play-by-play, a lot of credit. After they won game 1, the press release came out. Everblades can win series at home. Yep, they can. Yes, they can. That was before game 2 had ever dropped. Before they dropped the puck for game 2, he had that out. I thought that was fantastic.
So, and this is just like a normal week in the regular season. Blades home this week? Yeah, they're playing Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Same opponent? Yeah. First 2 games at 7:30, Saturday at 7 o'clock? Absolutely. Okay. So it's
Except
just
for probably not $2 beers on Wednesday, though.
I'm guessing not. That would be something, though, if they did that. But I'm guessing no, that's a regular season promotion only. But, I mean, weren't they the 4 seed in their division? I mean, this is the year, man, just because they were the last team to get in from their division, playing their way out of their division and then out of the conference. I mean, they haven't had home ice in any of the 4 series. They're just following the Heat and the Panthers lead, baby. Well, they're affiliated with the Panthers now, aren't they?
Yes.
It's just, they're kind of like, listen, we'll win our championship. You take care of yours. So, but they went on the road. I mean, they played the first 3 games at home against Newfoundland, and then they were going on the road for potentially 4 in Newfie. And then they had to pack for, hey, in theory, we're going to Boise or Toledo or wherever the heck we're going. They haven't been home in a while. They're sleeping today.
On a lot of flights.
Yeah, they are sleeping today.
So travel day today, they'll probably have a light skate tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, the Blades and the Idaho Steelheads as Blades looking to do it again.
Well, Mark, turnabout's fair play. I mean, 19 years ago when they played in the Cup, the series started in Southwest Florida, and Idaho took the first 2 games.
That's how long it's been since I worked there. Holy cow. It's a lifetime ago, David.
It
That is an
really
absolute lifetime ago.
Yep. 04 was when they did their first finals. Pretty sure I got that right. I think it was 04, 05 were their first 2 trips to the final. So, but they lost the first 2, and then you guys went to Boise and lost a heartbreaker in game 3. Won a big game in game 4, and then kind of ran out of steam in the third period of game 5 and lost the series in 5. And so if you're the Blades right now, you're looking to return the favor. We took the first 2 at your place. Now we come home for 3. We'll take 2 out of 3, however we do it.
And like the Nuggets last night with, David Thompson and Alice English in the crowd. Ernie Hartley will be in the crowd for all the Blades games.
Well, yeah, they can invite some of the boys back. Hartley, call Buckley up. Okay. And say, listen, we'll put you in a suite. We'll put the Yankee game on the TV. You'll be fine. There's a couple other guys they can.
Oh, there's bunches around here.
Yeah.
Bunches.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that have stuck around over the years.
But I mean, there's only a few who have their jersey hanging. I'm just saying, like the guys you were mentioning with the Nuggets there. I mean, they got jerseys. It was cool to see David Thompson, though, for those of us of a certain age. David Thompson was cool.
He really was.
Yeah. He wasn't as cool as George Gervin, but he was damn cool.
I don't know. I would actually. That's really close because Thompson could dunk and had spectacular dunks. Where the Iceman had the finger roll. He wasn't a dunker.
But I mean, the Iceman was like a poor man Julius. Irving had such class and style and panache. I mean, so did Gervin with those long fingers.
I know, but David Thompson dunked the basketball by cradled the ball in his arm, got up over the rim, and with his fist pounded it into the net.
Skywalker.
I mean,
he was cool. He really was. He was cool. And starred in what some people feel is the greatest college basketball game ever played. The 74 ACC final between NC State and Maryland, when only one team per conference made the tournament. And they were the top 2 teams in the country. So forget playing for the ACC championship. A lot of people thought they were playing for the national championship. They beat UCLA in the Final Four. This just in, that didn't happen very often. I mean, check out how good David Thompson, that NC State team was. They beat number 2 Maryland in the ACC final in overtime, and I'm pretty sure they took out UCLA in the Final Four. And then Wooden won it the next year, and he was done.
We've obviously talked a lot of Heat today with a huge win in game 2. Jokic now 0-3 when he scores 40+ in the postseason. Did the Heat find something? Let him have his. No, but let him have his. We talked about this before the series started, David.
I would, because if the other guys get going, you got no shot. Because, Mark, in theory, he's going to, quote, get his. His may not be 40, but it'll be 25, 27. So what would you rather have? Him score 40, but only one other player on the team scores more than 12? Or he has 27 points, 14 assists, 10 rebounds, and 3 other guys go off? No, I'd rather he get his. Don't double team him. Okay? Or if you do, you better get back on your guy.
It's so hard because his vision's so damn good.
I know.
I mean, it doesn't hurt when he's bigger than everybody out there. It helps with vision when you can see through or over everybody that's on the court.
And he only had 4 assists, but they were 4 nice assists. He had that one tap pass right inside the paint to an Eric Gordon dunk.
He also had 2 big offensive rebounds in the final 2 minutes. I mean, it kind of reminded me of when the Celtics late in the series, they were dominating the Heat on the offensive glass. And I thought down the stretch yesterday, Denver was getting all the offensive boards. I mean, they were down 11, and next thing you knew, it was 1. But series is even. I really believe now I don't know how many more adjustments the Heat can make, especially.
Well, what the Heat's adjustments are is doing it possession by possession. Their adjustments aren't game to game as much, David, to me, as they are possession by possession. I'm going to run zone this possession. Hey, the ball goes out of bounds. We're going to switch from man to zone within a possession. I mean, those are the adjustments that the Heat makes, and when they're able to get Denver off of their game, and last night they did.
But, Mark, to me, what was fascinating is that they spend all the first 3 quarters, and he's using Kevin Love and Cody Zeller. They're playing a bunch of minutes, and they're struggling, obviously. But he's like, listen, I'm going with some size in this game. And then they get to the 4th quarter, and he's down 8. And Jimmy Butler's played all but like 2 minutes, and he's got to rest. And they're down 8. And Spo goes zone, and he goes to his bench. And it works. Big.
And we're telling a different story today if Denver plays defense in the 4th quarter, because the Miami Heat shot 68+% in the 4th quarter from the field.
That seems really good.
It does. I mean, just as far as numbers go. And that's 2 4th quarters in a row that Denver has been outplayed badly.
They've lost both 4th quarters by double figures. They got outscored by 10 in game 1, and most of us dismissed it because they took a 21-point lead to the 4th. Well, they got outscored by 11 last night in the 4th quarter, in which, let's face it, they hold on to win game 2. I mean, do we think this is a series?
No.
That Miami can win, not make interesting, but win.
That's 4 or 5 if they get that done in the 4th quarter. And I don't think they could do that.
Now? Okay. Could see where they shorten this series. I would pay big money to see the Heat win game 3. I would love the Nuggets to face something they haven't faced yet in this postseason. I mean, the Heat did. The Heat finally trailed in a series. Okay, they came back and showed their stuff last night. Denver's yet to trail in a series. I'd love for the Heat to win Wednesday night.
That building is going to be rocking.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore, but yes, it will be. Miller and Moulton.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Heat are a 2.5-point dog in Game 3. It is the most disrespected franchise in one playoff run that I've ever seen, David.
In fact, let's see. They weren't favored for a game against Milwaukee. They were favored for 1 or 2 games against Boston. Remember, Game 4, they were finally favored. And I don't know if they were favored in Game 6 or not. And then if we look at the Knicks series, I think the Knicks were favored in all 3 home games, and the Heat were favored in all 3 home games. So the Heat have been favored 4 or 5 times so far in these playoffs. They've played 20 games.
First to 16, baby.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I don't know how you're going to get it to him, but
You got a present here, David.
No way.
From John Webb Legal Group. You have a card and a box.
Huh. Oh. So, Logic Man, those Eagles were underdogs in the Atlanta game in the division round 2. I remember Minnesota being like a 1.5 point favorite in the NFC Championship game. So the Falcons were favored in the divisional round 2.
So I looked at the card.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty funny. He references Friday's show. He says, Heard you doing the show on Friday, June 2nd, that you have experienced a shortage of pens at times, so I thought these might help. My guess is it's a box of pens.
That's fantastic.
John, what we could really use is, no offense, is we have a shortage of sponsors.
Wow, sounds like about 50 of them at least.
At least. Washer and dryer. That's really funny.
15 seconds.
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. Some final thoughts and a pick or two coming up in 20 minutes' time. We mentioned this earlier in the show, and you said that you would watch some college baseball this weekend. We're in the regionals. 9 of the 16 teams have already advanced to the super regionals. The other 7 will advance today and tonight. Gators in a winner-go-home showdown with Texas Tech at noon. Florida trying to come out of the losers bracket. Texas Tech beat them on Saturday. Gators had to win twice yesterday. UConn midday, Texas Tech at night. They did. So now they get another crack at Texas Tech. If they win, they'll host a super regional because they're the number 2 overall seed. But Mark, have you heard about the goings on in the Kentucky-Indiana? So Kentucky's hosting the regional, but they lost early. So they've had to play their way through the losers bracket. I think they lost right out of the chute, and they've won 3 games to get to a showdown with Indiana. Kentucky against Indiana today in Lexington, I believe. Winner goes to the super regional, loser's done. So they play yesterday. Indiana hasn't lost yet, so they get 2 cracks at Kentucky to win once. First crack was last night. Apparently, Kentucky's really good at getting hit by pitch. So much so, Mark, that apparently they practiced it.
Getting hit by pitch?
Yes.
What, is this like the Mighty Ducks where they learned to dive?
Before facing Indiana last night, trying to do some math here. I guess they played 3 games, I guess. They had already been hit 12 times in 3 games. And they noted that Indiana throws inside. And so, Mark, instead of taking batting practice in between their elimination games yesterday, the backup catcher, who's hitting like $180 on the season, has hardly played. He said to the guys, "I'll throw BP. Get in there." And apparently he hit everybody. He said, "We're going to get hit by a lot of pitches in this game. Okay? Be ready to take it." And so the big pregame rah-rah speech was, "Get in there so I can hit you." And he hit everybody.
Hit by pitch. Hit by pitch.
So they play last night. Care to guess how many times Kentucky was hit by a pitch in the game?
6.
Higher.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
I threw an outlandish number out there because you set this up for me to give a higher number than normal. I would never get 6 in a game, and it's higher.
Correct.
9?
Bingo. 9 times. apparently during the game, Indiana was out arguing because the rule is, you have to make an effort to avoid being hit by the pitch. You do. It's a rule. Now, the effort is up to the umpire or umpires as to whether or not they've made an effort. Indiana was arguing Kentucky was making an effort to get hit by the pitches. So,
well, when they practiced it before the game,
right? I know. Might be a tell. In poker, this would qualify as a tell.
No doubt.
So when the 9th Kentucky player was hit by a pitch, then and only then were both benches warned. Because apparently it came after a Kentucky home run. And so the umpires were like, no, this one was on purpose. So they've been hit 21 times so far in their regional. And the two teams are playing today with a spot in the Super Regionals on the line. I'm wondering, by the way, if you're the umpires, do you do nothing? Or do you, before the game, call both head coaches over and go, okay, just so you know, we're going to not have a sense of humor about this today. Just keep that in mind.
They're umpires. I would vote for B.
Right.
If you know what I mean. I would just.
So, of the 7 regionals that are being decided today, one of them's in Gainesville, Florida taking on Texas Tech. Winner moves on, loser goes home. By the way, Texas is already advanced, and A&M has a showdown with Stanford. And if A&M wins, yes, that's right, it'll be Texas against Texas A&M in the Super Regionals. Now, I know most of you aren't into college baseball, but remember, this is, one of the last times Texas is not in the SEC. And to get those two schools playing each other in a super regional, winner goes to Omaha, would be kind of cool.
Stanford favored to beat A&M. They are the seeded team. They are at home. They are expected to win for what it's worth.
And Stanford beat A&M last night to stay alive.
But we've had Auburn go down. That was a ranked team. We had Vanderbilt go down. That was a ranked team. I think Oklahoma State was another one.
Miami.
Miami.
Texas swept that Coral Gables regional.
So, yeah, Miami couldn't score in the first outing. Couldn't get anything going.
Didn't do much better in the second outing either. So, by the way, the kid who transferred from FGCU to Miami, before the regional was done, announced he was in the portal. That didn't work out so well.
Right. Clemson went down. They were the number 2 seed overall, I believe. Lost to Charlotte yesterday.
So got 9 teams have advanced, 7 advanced today and tonight. But there's some, intrigue. Vanderbilt not making it through. The Gators have to win 3 elimination games in damn near 24 hours to advance. They got 2 of them in their back pocket. Can they win again today?
And if you're going to watch, pack snacks.
Woo-wee! Man. And it's a shame, too, because the college baseball I had seen for most of the year, Mark, it looked like they were trying to adopt the pace of play initiatives in the majors and minors. It was as if the college baseball coaches had said to their players, listen, you guys are trying to get drafted. Okay, you're going to have to start playing by these rules. We might as well start adopting them here, even though we don't have the clock.
But then what happened was the tournament started. And coaches decided that they could go back to coaching every pitch of every game, every play, mound visits, shifts. It's nonstop. It's a slow product, David.
I forget the teams involved, but there was like 2 out, 2 on in a middle inning, and there was a 2-2 count on the batter, and the head coach came out and made a pitching change. Now, I got to admit, I'm surprised more coaches / managers don't do this. Think about what an advantage the pitcher has if they can throw a strike. Literally, the hitter, no one has seen the pitcher. And never mind, you make the pitching change when the count's 2-2. And so, sure enough, the guy comes out of the bullpen, throws one good pitch, and strike three. By the way, that was the only pitch he threw in the game. Then another pitching change for the start of the next inning.
Did his job. What do you want? I did my job.
Yep. Come on, boys, get your acts together.
If everybody would just do their job out there, we'd be done with this thing. I did mine.
This isn't that hard. College softball tonight, but today and tonight. Oklahoma by day, Florida State by night. If you're interested.
Oklahoma looking for what, 51 in a row or whatever it is?
Yeah, they're 58-1 overall. Yet Stanford has to beat them twice in the same day. Yeah, okay.
Good luck. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when, and what's on tap, all still ahead. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Oh, nothing like when you make it to the final stage of U.S. Open qualifying and you're 7 over through 7.
Well, and the other thing is if you drop out, it affects your group because then they're waiting on every tee.
you have any idea, David, what an R is next to your name in golf? This guy who's leading the Florida section here has an A/R. I know what the A is. It's amateur. I don't know what the R is. I wonder if that's who's the guy from Florida that just won the NCAA. Do you know his name?
Oh,
Is it
damn.
Michael Bukakevo?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no.
I just wondered if it was him that he's got some, means some sort of R, means some sort of status. I've never seen that before. $51 players for 3 spots.
I think it's was it Matt Biondi? Biondi, I know is his name.
Gotcha. That's okay.
Fred Biondi won the title. Biondi.
Gotcha.
So by the way, today's the Gannett Strike Day.
Thought they had that last week.
No, they announced it last week that they're doing it today. So today's the day where nobody at the Gannett newspapers is going to show up and work.
You're fired.
Okay. Well, but what they've been trying to tell people over the weekend is that today's a day where you also shouldn't go on like the website. Don't give them any clicks today either. If you want to support us.
Oh, I'll spend the whole day on their websites then. Let's see. Subscriptions going down through the toilet, not making nearly as much money, and you want more in a dying industry.
$30 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Sampson to join us on the show tomorrow. I think Pat's trying to figure out, he can't do Wednesday. He's traveling Wednesday. So I think Pat Kerwin's trying to decide, am I doing Tuesday or am I doing Thursday? Right now, I've got him penciled in for Thursday. We'll see, though. Could be tomorrow.
Well, it's an off day for the Blades. Probably the best day to get Pats in between games 3 and 4.
Well, that's what I thought. He's going to be in attendance for game 3. He'll be up early either way, lamenting the loss or fired up that they're a win away from dancing with the cup. So we'll see. But David Sampson for sure tomorrow.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1851 is where we start today. Uncle Tom's Cabin, first published. 1944, after receiving favorable weather reports, General Eisenhower decides to proceed with D-Day on June the 6th.
I have to admit, Mark, their idea of favorable weather reports, kind of like fishing and duck hunting, favorable weather reports.
1952, the first sporting event that was televised nationally. Jersey Joe Walcott beats Ezra Charles in 15 for the heavyweight title. Today in 68, Robert Kennedy was shot. He would die the next day. 77, Portland beats Philadelphia in 6 for the NBA championship.
It's Bill Walton, Jack Ramsey and company. They lost the first 2 games of that series.
83, Yannick Noah wins his only Grand Slam title, winning the French, defeating Mats Wilander in straight sets. 99, Steffi Graf wins her 22nd and final Grand Slam title, winning the French. 2005, this guy named Rafael Nadal wins his first French title. Don't know how he would do there after that.
Yeah, whatever became of him.
He won it again for the 6th time in 2011, defeating Federer. Bob Probert would have been 58 today. Robert Kraft is 82. Kenny G is 67. And Mark Wahlberg's 52. And I have a funny feeling I missed a lot, David, because this was not my best effort today. I can admit it to you that I think I missed stuff today.
19 years ago today, Ronald Reagan died. But that's really, I mean, there's a couple of interesting tidbits, but no.
I usually do it the night before. I didn't. I had to get up this morning. I was worried. I was panicked that I missed something. So I feel good.
Yeah, well done.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I will say, did you mention the 6-Day War?
I did not.
Okay, the 6-Day War happened today in 67. Kind of a big deal because 6 days later, Israel had doubled in size. So, yeah, it was kind of a...
It was a good 6 days for them.
It was a hell of a week. It was. It's
a hell of a day for this young middle schooler. Xavier Jones was an 8th grader. He had to walk 6 miles for his 8th grade graduation. Didn't have a ride. Told Fox News, if I want it, I got to go get it. So as he, along with his brother and a friend, made the long walk, mentor Darren Seals was speaking at the ceremony, heard one of his students had walked 2 hours to be there. He paused to inform the audience. And he stopped his speech, let everybody know, and they gave him a standing ovation. But as it happened to be, the president of Harris Stowe State University was in attendance that day and was so moved by the perseverance and determination of the young man, she offered him a college scholarship on the spot.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. That's like the Snapchat guy who was the keynote speaker at a graduation, and he said to everybody, hey, listen, you're going to be equipped to do whatever it is you want. I'm going to pay all your student loans off. $10 million, by the way, is what it cost him. Of course, he's worth billions, but still.
He's interested in a radio show. Hey, Snappy. Good. Well, this whole show will be brought to you by Snapchat.
Damn right it will. In fact, we may just broadcast it exclusively on.
Right. Just in 60-second increments, one after another.
Yep.
Felipe, it's the first time we've actually been on, Felipe's been on our side for anything. He Snapchats throughout the whole show. It's all he really does. We go to Tampa for the bad, where some jackass at Busch Gardens decided to jump the enclosures to the alligator enclosure.
Unbelievable.
Apparently the man was within 5 feet of the alligators, and unfortunately for all of us, the alligators didn't go alligator.
Really?
Nope. Nobody was hurt. No guests, no employees, no animals were hurt.
Did he he did this during normal business hours too. So there were people
filming the whole thing.
Golly. I mean, yeah, the guy's an idiot, but do you really want the alligators to go all alligator, or do you
When
want
you
them?
jump in the alligator cage, I think all bets are off.
No. I understand all bets are off. I understand you're bringing it on yourself, but don't you want the guy to get the ultimate mulligan?
The only thing I feel badly about, like when the idiot did it in the tiger enclosure at the Naples Zoo and lost his arm, they put the tiger down.
I know.
Why? What the hell did the tiger do?
I agree.
Finally, the ugly, we go to Fort Myers, where the McCaslins were sitting down for dinner Thursday night when someone barged into their house. He was at the dinner table with his two teenage daughters when they thought I heard a knocking at the door, and he walked out and there was an individual in their living room. If that wasn't shocking enough, when the man encountered the unwanted guest, he started telling Mr. McCaslin that he was a ghost and he shouldn't be able to see him. He was shocked that he could see him. He thought he was walking around and that no one could see him. They've not found the man. He snuck out. Police were called, but by the time they arrived, he had taken off. If you know who the man is that barged in the home, call Crime Stoppers. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, June the 5th, 2023. I'm a ghost. How can you see me?
I'm Bert from Soap. I'm invisible. It's an old reference. If you're aware of it, though. Come on, you're chuckling. That's pretty good. All right, college baseball today begins at noon on ESPNU, the Gators and Texas Tech. And then there's one other game on U at 3 o'clock, Arkansas TCU. So if your college baseball is your thing, Gators with a win will be hosting the Super Regional. With a loss, their season's over. They're the number 2 overall seed. Noon, ESPNU. By the way, Gators are minus 250. Softball today and tonight on the mothership, on the big network, ESPN. Think about this, Mark. They're canceling potentially PTI, NFL Live. I mean, huge money-making shows to show college softball. Oklahoma's got the afternoon. However much time they need. They take care of Stanford at noon. Yeah, okay, fine.
Regular scheduled programming for the rest of the day.
Right, already in progress. But if by chance Stanford wins, then we just go right at it again. And it stays on ESPN. By the way, tonight, Florida State gets the evening. They get 2 cracks at Tennessee. They only need to beat them once. So 7 o'clock, Florida State, Tennessee. If the Noles lose, about 9:30, Florida State, Tennessee. There you have it. You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. First off, there's 8 Major League Baseball games today, and the Rays and Marlins are 2 of them. Rays wrapping up their 4-game set in Boston against the Red Sox at 4 o'clock. Go to your Bally Sports Channel, what have you, take it in. Mark, of all the games that FS1 could televise on a Monday night, they're televising the Royals and the Marlins.
Seriously?
Yeah, the Marlins getting the FS1 treatment tonight at 6:40.
Why?
I just that whole we're going to televise everybody type deal.
Right. Houston's playing Toronto.
I know. So Kansas City, Miami, 6:40 on FS1. Hey, listen, Miami just swept Oakland. They got Kansas City, second worst team in baseball, coming to town. Bury them too. Put 6 wins on the board in a week. Okay? And make a serious run at this playoff spot. Let's go. So don't let down, Miami. Keep it going.
Little soft spot in the schedule. You've got to take advantage of it.
But the big thing tonight is game 2 in the battle for Lord Stanley's Cup. Florida lost game 1, gave up 3 in the third, one of them an empty netter, 5-2. Panthers Vegas is minus 140. So you can get damn near plus 150 on the Panthers, which is Vegas a much bigger favorite than they were in game 1. when it was like minus 115. 8 o'clock TNT. I'll tell you the bet I like tonight. Over 5.5.
I like the Panthers tonight. They're going to have more power plays than Vegas will. Write it down.
And by the way, Vegas had 7 power plays in game 1. Florida had 3.
Thank you. So if you think that number is going to be anywhere close to the same, you're crazy.
Vegas went 2 for 7 on the power play. Florida 0 for 3. Panthers did score a shorthanded goal, however.
Well, 2. No, 1. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So face-offs were relatively even, although I have to admit it was pretty streaky in the game. I felt like I watched for an hour when Vegas won every face-off. But then again, the Panthers scored their second tying goal, late second, basically off a face-off.
Which seemed to be the first draw they had won in an hour and a half.
Right. But I will say Florida did something a little more against Vegas than I thought I had seen them do throughout the playoffs, Mark. They kept reversing the puck a lot in their own zone. Like against Toronto and Carolina and with them, they just kept moving it, whatever direction they were going in, they just kept going in that direction. Let's bang it off the boards or move it up. Let's go. Let's get it out. I felt like Florida kept trying to reverse it a lot in their own zone. Like maybe catch the Vegas forecheck awkwardly. A couple times I thought it nearly, led to something bad happening. But be curious if that was just one of those things or that's a plan of attack.
This is the toughest team defensively they've played physically, I think, since they've played Boston. And we'll see how that goes tonight.
Remember, even though they won game 2 in Boston, it took until about games 3 and 4 before the goals really started coming for Florida in that Boston series, even though they lost those games. But I'm with you. If I were to bet the game tonight, I would bet the Panthers because I do think, I got them winning in 7. So, I certainly don't think they're going to go down 0-2. But I like the over-under tonight because I think Florida gets to Hill tonight. They had the one gimme that they missed. They hit, 2 posts and a crossbar. Okay. Vegas might be deeper. Their 4 lines are clearly better than Florida's 4 lines from top to bottom. Their 4th line, Vegas, is tremendous. But I feel like Florida's star power is better.
I think that's very true. I think the 2 best players on the ice are Barkov and Tkachuk. I do. I'm with you 100% on that. But we know that hockey's not won by 2 stars. It's won often by your depth. And the fact that Cassidy can put that 4th line out there and feel confident at any point of putting them out there, whomever he puts them out there against, is a big deal. And they had a great game 1.
Yes, they did. And you could see where Paul Maurice was trying not to play his 4th line. But remember, they got 72 hours till game 3. If I'm Paul Maurice, I'm riding some guys hard tonight. They got an extra day of rest in between games 2 and 3. Whether it's Montour on defense, whether it's my number 1 line, I'm riding some guys hard tonight. 8 o'clock TNT. Until tomorrow, have a great Monday. We'll talk then. Miller and Moulton.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles,